Good day to you. Welcome. Bill Michaels Show. At it today. Beautiful day. Hump day. Wednesday. If you want to get a hold of us, give us a shout. Over on Twitter, you can find us at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find our good buddy producing the program, Grant Bills, at Wisco Grant. At Wisco Grant, always call the program 877-867-1670. The app is always one of the best ways to listen to the program. Take us anywhere and everywhere. The Zone Madison, the Zone, Z-O-N-E, the Zone Madison app, W-O-Z-N. You can track us down. And you can always find us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all that kind of stuff as well. So we are back. I am back from Chippewa Falls. Got back last night, I don't know, 12:30, something like that. Last night. Got to bed about 2:15 after I got a little bit more work done, and back up this morning for meetings. Meetings at 7 a.m. this morning, bright and early. So running on fumes today. But that being said, the Hoodie's in town, and that's always big news whenever the Hoodie's home. And he is in Green Bay. The Packers and the Patriots going to face off against one another in a couple of joint practices before the game coming up this weekend. The defense of the Patriots, good to have them in town because they're really going to press what Jordan Love and company have to offer. So it should be pretty spirited, I guess might be the best way to put it. Very disciplined, but pretty spirited up in Green Bay. We're going to hear from Mike Clemens as well. In the meantime, we go over to Madison, Wisconsin, where our buddy Wisco Grant is hanging out. So how was the final hour yesterday of one you and Mike Clemens?
It was riveting, Bill. It's always riveting radio when Mike is here. We talked about, because, Mike loves the guys on the bubble.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's great about Mike this time of year is he'll give us the full story of Carrington Valentine, who we heard from yesterday,
right,
and some of the fourth, fifth string tight ends now that Tyler Davis is out. So yeah, it was riveting. It was awesome. I love talking to Mike.
That is always good. I was listening to a little bit of it as I was driving, so I did catch it. So I was riveted. I was glued to my radio as I drove up the highway, as I drove out 94 heading west yesterday. Had a good time last night. I'll say this: we have 3 of these events left, and it's gotten weird. Okay, let me say this. It's gotten weird. And here's the reason why. Is because these started out is kind of like it was just this casual, intimate gathering of 30 people. And we told, a few stories, answered a few questions. And, you had a cigar manufacturer kind of explain the different types of, things. And you had a really good meal, a couple of drinks, and that's kind of the premise of this. Okay, the cigar dinners for our friends at Quick Trip, Quick Spirits, and Tobacco Outlet Plus Grocery, and it has grown into like going on tour in the state of Wisconsin. First of all, they sell out almost immediately. It has gone from an intimate gathering of 20 to 30 people to 60 to 70 people. I think the one at Cortez's that we have at the end of the year has gone well over 100, 150 people. And they're growing. The demand is growing. I mean, I think at this point in time, if I could just schedule enough of these, I could just tour the state of Wisconsin, quit my job, and call it a day, because it's just that kind of cool. But these have gotten really kind of neat. And it's people no longer say, hey, we had a great time at the dinner, the cigar dinner, or whatever. They say now, what a great show, which is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm completely 100% flattered and humbled. But it's like, well, we're not really doing a show. It's just kind of a Q&A, but it's become a show. It's interactive with fans, and I'm thinking, should we take this to the Riverside? You can't smoke in the Riverside, but it's really gotten kind of cool. So I know that Celebrations, if it's not sold out, it's very, very close. We're going to be in La Crosse coming up. I think is our next one. We've got a golf outing / dinner show coming up in Wausau, and that is approaching in the next couple of weeks. And then our last one is going to be at Cortez's down in Kenosha. And that is coming up. I think it's the second week of September. So, but go to, either quickspirits.com, Tobacco Outlet Plus Grocery.com, and you can see the information there. But they're now like in demand. They're now selling out. We've got people that are calling that want them in their areas. And I either, and I don't schedule them because people get mad at me. They're like, are you kidding me? Why don't you come here? It's like, I don't schedule them. They're not up to me. I dance. I'm like a monkey, man. I dance where they tell me to dance. But they've gotten really big, and it's been a lot of fun. Last night was a terrific crowd. We had a couple of people we had a group of people. They were all turning 65 within the next, few months, I guess. And so they were all there. And there was a gentleman there last night that his wife had actually bought him a ticket for his birthday to come to the event. And he had no idea, which is fine. He had no idea who I was. He mixed me up with Bret Michaels and wanted to know if I was going to sing, which is hilarious. So, I mean, we had that kind of, attendee. So it was fun last night. We had a great time. So for those that attended, we certainly appreciate it up in the Eau Claire area. And Wissota High Shore Supper Club, I have not been there since they renovated. And they renovated that place, and man, oh man, is that beautiful right there on the lake and on the river. So what a great time. Thanks to everybody that showed up last night. We had a lot of fun, without a doubt. Anyway, that being said, 877-867-1670, hit us up if you choose to do so. A lot of questions last night about not necessarily Jordan Love. I think everybody is of the opinion of Jordan Love, we'll wait and see. I think there's just a lot of that. Now it is about, can Christian Watson really become the elite wide receiver in the league that they need him to be? Can the defense, and a lot of questions about who really, what young cat really needs to to be cliche, who needs to step up? Who needs to really emerge for this team to have a lot of success? And a lot of good questions last night that make you kind of go, wow, okay, that's kind of deep. I got to think about that. In talking about that last night, now we're going to hear from a lot of guys and inside the Packers locker room and such, and the other thing is we're going to hear from Bill Belichick today a little bit of Bill Belichick today, which is always nice. But Mike Clemens doing his due diligence, so we're going to hear from some of the stuff from Bill Belichick and company, and then anything else coming out of the locker room and Matt LaFleur's presser today and such. We're going to hear all of that coming up in a little bit. But when the question was posed, and last night there was a lot of talk about a lot of the youth and a lot of the young guys and who really needs to kind of emerge, so to speak, for this Packers team. And, it's interesting because I don't think you have to put, and I thought about this coming home last night, I don't think you have to put pressure on Christian Watson to be the guy or Jaden Reed to really step up in his rookie year or Luke Musgrave. I think what you need to do is collectively they have to be consistent. And I know that's a very boring, crappy, non-sensationalistic, low-ass clickbait type of answer. But that's the truth. You just need them to be consistent. Things will come and they will grow. But just be consistent. Don't have, 5 passes to you, 3 for drops, 1's an incompletion, and 1 catch. You need to be consistent. So I think when you look at Christian Watson as a whole, Romeo Doubs as a whole, Samari Torrey as a whole, Jaden Reed, I think what you just need to be able to do is say, Jordan Love, just spread the ball around. Don't be the Aaron Rodgers-esque lock on one guy, and that's going to be your guy. Now, there's going to be guys you have a rapport with and maybe who you trust. Okay, I understand all of that. But this is going to be just spread it around. Spread it around, move the sticks. I don't care if this team's not going downfield on the consistent. I don't care if they don't have, the Jamar Chase over the top consistent threat or the Swiss Army knife of speed of Deebo Samuel and such. I don't care. All I want to see is just consistency. Run the ball, 3 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry. I know it's asking a lot, but 4 yards a carry. Be able to move the ball via the tight ends. Get quick outs, hitters over the middle, inside slant. Maybe that comes back as a thing, because the last time we saw consistency out of the inside slant was probably when Donald Driver was a wide receiver. But just that stuff. Move the sticks, continue drives, grind on defenses, keep your defense off the field. That's it. And I really got into this last night and I thought about it and I thought, what happens if you just, I don't want to say dink and dunk, but if you just, 5 yard out, 7 yard out, 10 yard out, 3 yard run, 4 yard run, 2 yard out, if all of a sudden at the end of the day, you're still throwing for 270 yards and a couple of touchdowns, you run for 1 or 2, You kick a field goal or two, and your defense is at close to top 10. Well, before you know it, you're sniffing 10 wins, right? Maybe more. And you're sniffing the postseason. That's all I think this team, that's all I'm expecting. That's all I'm looking for this season. I'm not looking for much more than that. Now, if it becomes dynamic and suddenly Christian Watson really begins to feel it and guys just cannot keep up with his overall speed and, they're just, two-step drop, boom, launch that thing and let him run under it and catch it and go get it because he's becoming some kind of a leaping apex guy, fantastic. That is icing on the cake, man. That's like walking into Quick Trip and you find that brownie that's got that, little bit of that sugar frosting on top. And then you look and you go, oh, crap. Oh, snap. And then on the other side, you got that brownie with that thick fudgy icing that's just, it's just, you don't even eat it. You just put it in your pants, go home and roll around. That kind of thing. That's Christian Watson if he becomes the threat. If he becomes that deep threat on a consistent. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need anything more than that. So for all the questions of who needs to step up, well, you'd love to see a guy like Lucas Van Ness step up, but he's not going to. He's going to be Rashawn Gary in his first year, 2.0. It's going to take him some time. He's going to be a body. He's going to be a rotational guy. Maybe you put him in certain matchup situations that benefit him. You hope that Colby Wooden, gives you some upfront power, stability, leverage. He gives you a good rotation with Kenny Clark and TJ Slayton and Devontae Wyatt and Colby Wooden. Even maybe Carl Brooks, maybe he does it. Jonathan Ford, maybe you got your good rotation there, big bodies. You got maybe Preston Smith has a more pressure packed year when it comes to getting after the quarterback. Devondre Campbell has a little bit better season than he had last year. Quay Walker is suddenly able to get a little bit more off the block. I mean, that really, if Quay Walker, with all the ability he has and the team speed that he has, if Quay Walker figures it out, he could be probably one of your more impactful players because then he becomes utilized in so many different ways. He really does. But if you get anything out of Rashawn Gary this year that's over and above what you believe he can do, that's fantastic because he's coming back from an ACL. If suddenly Eric Stokes comes back and he's feeling really, really good, and you got him and Keisha Nixon, Rasul Ford, Jair Alexander back there. And all of a sudden you're looking at, Carrington Valentine. He's a viable guy. Your safety position, you may not have a ton of high end, quality all-star Pro Bowl talent, but you've got depth. For the first time in a long time, you've got some depth. So, if the defense is around the top 10 and the offense can just put consistent points on the board, can put consistent yards up, I don't see why not this team couldn't do some surprising thing. And at the end of the season, you could say, here's the statistics. It looked pretty good. Did they play it safe? Is Colin Cowherd right? Did they put floaties on him? Who the hell cares? If he's moving the football down the field, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. So it's not like Anthony Richardson for the Colts, who his first couple of passes in the game against Buffalo the other day, he's winding up and heaving it downfield. Really good pass. Don't get me wrong. But you don't need to. You don't need to. Just be consistent. That's it. And you can win a lot of baseball, or you can win a lot of football games that way. I'm sorry. The Little League World Series baseball commercial just came on, and I got all geeked up over that. But just be consistent. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's get to the phone calls. Derek, listening to us in Albany, New York. Derek, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Hey, Bill, you know as well as anybody that there's so many cliches in sports, all the phrases and everything, it. And it's part of the lexicon, but the first game against the Bears, that is maybe the most important first game we have had in a long, long time. Because if we win that game, I think if we win that game, we got enough momentum to go to Atlanta and win again, and then we're at home against the Saints. It sounds cliche, but that first game is really, really big. They're all big. But do you agree that this might be the biggest first game we've had in probably 10 years?
100%. 100% for two reasons, not just to get off on the right foot, but because the Bears have been, quote, owned between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers over the last 30 years. And now you can't.
Yeah, they're loaded for bear.
Right. The tradition of that, the pressure of that, when he did the belt and then yelled into the fans, I own you. The fans down there now feel, and we had a couple of Bears fans in the crowd last night, now feel like the cloud is lifted, like it's their time. And Bears fans want Packers fans to feel like Bears fans have felt for the last 30 years. Like you just can't beat that team and beat that franchise. So the pressure not only to win your first game and to get your first real start and to kind of show your wares life after Aaron Rodgers, but to then face the team that Rodgers said he owned is huge. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting game for the network too, because most of the nation, from what I can gather, about 70% of the nation is going to see that as part of the doubleheader. So,
yep,
big time.
Yep, 100%. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Appreciate the phone call as always, Derek. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to step away. We're going to come back. Got a lot more to get to, and I want to hear your thoughts. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Woke up this morning, and I had some text messages. And one of them was for my buddy Dave over at Steel Tank Brewing. And Steel Tank Brewing, as you know, is going to be the landing spot. It's going to be the final destination on the motorcycle ride this year. And we've got bands. We have got, huge tent, big stage, tons of parking, food, vendors, the whole thing. It's a festival now, okay? It's a festival. We're going to have a great time. It's on Robrook Lane in Oconomowoc is Steel Tank Brewing Company, and that's going to be the end spot for the motorcycle ride. So Dave texts me. I wake up and he's like, hey, dude, I never thought of this. Now, their restaurant can hold a few hundred people on the inside. Outside, and the music venue can hold maybe 500. But outside, is where most everybody is going to be after the ride. And if it's a nice day, and say the weather forecast of 78 and sunny feels like 80, it holds up, and I'm still checking it every day, and it's still holding up right now. If that holds up, we could end up with 1,200 motorcycles, which would be beyond our wildest dreams, phenomenal when it comes to funds raised for Fisher House, Wisconsin, for veterans, military members, and their families. But also, it would be, you figure, most motorcycles, somebody brings somebody, right? You got your girlfriend, wife, whatever. And then you get a lot of double riders and such. But if you end up with, say, 1,200 bikes, you're probably going to end up with about 17 to 1,800 people. Okay. So Dave texted me this morning, and this is Dave being all over it. He's like, oh, Bill, I just thought of something. How many porta potties do we need? I don't know what the rule of thumb is for porta potties. But this is my morning. This is the kind of stuff you deal with when you put these big events together. I said, I don't know. So I had to Google. And some say for every 50 people, you have to have a porta potty. Some say for every 100 people, you have to have a porta potty. So he's got like 4 bathrooms on the inside. So we went with, I think, 6 or 8 additional porta potties. But that's the kind of deep thinking we woke up to this morning when it comes to our friends at Steel Tank Brewing. Is not only are they worried about opening their doors today, but they're worried about porta potties and make sure we take care of everybody for the motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, September 3rd. Steel Tank Brewing is a terrific place, unbelievably great food. And they are the veteran-owned company. Dave is a veteran. And I just can't recommend them enough. So we hope to see you at Steel Tank Brewing in Oconomowoc coming up on Sunday, September 3rd. But they are just give them a nod, man. Give them a tip of the cap, because they're doing a lot of stuff and taking it on via their own expense to make this motorcycle ride spectacular. So thanks, Dave, and thanks to Dave and the gang over at Steel Tank Brewing.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Well, you know, a win streak had to snap last night, and unfortunately, it was the Brewers and their win streak. Dodgers won their 9th in a row, 6-2 win over the Brewers and the NL division leaders. Christian Yelich hit Bobby Miller's first pitch of the game for a single. Then the rookie, walked William Contreras, and after that, just was pretty much it. Miller tossed 6 innings, 1-run ball, retired the final 18 batters he faced, and the Dodgers won their 9th straight game, 6-2 over the Brewers last night, and that was it. Pretty much done. Brewers didn't have much more pop after that. The NL Central leading Brewers had the win streak snapped, and the Dodgers sent 10 batters to the plate and scored 5 runs while breaking open the tie in the 6th, and that was all she wrote. So Brewers back at it tonight, taking on the Dodgers, and kind of hoping that they can get a couple of wins out in LA. You don't want to lose yet another. I'll not put it this way: you already what are you 1-5 against the Atlanta Braves, I think, and that's in the American or the National League East. What you don't want to do is continue to drop to the Dodgers in the National League West. So you're kind of setting yourself up for when you meet them in the postseason to say, look, you just don't have sustainability against these two particular teams. Now, we all know that you can get hot, you can get lucky, you can get healthy, all that kind of stuff. I say it all the time. But man, it's You don't want to have that ominous feeling going into those series if and when you get to the postseason and say, oh, God, great, we got, the Braves coming to town. Well, boy, you couldn't do anything with them in the regular season. Same thing, you don't want to be you don't want to stare down the barrel of that against the Dodgers. So you're hoping they bounce back tonight, get themselves a win, make it a nice, maybe get 2 wins, and then get on to Texas, try to win a series there, and then keep moving. Keep moving. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one's from Jack, and it's kind of Packers, but yet unpackers related. He said, have you talked about at all the upgrades to Lambeau Field and what it's going to be like for fans going there on Saturday night? I have not. And I'll be quite honest with you. Other than the big new scoreboards, I haven't paid attention to it. I just haven't. If fans, if you know something different and you have details, chime in, because that's kind of what the show's all about. But I have not. And it's not for. I don't know if it's not for lack of want to. It's just. I guess. Today's day and age, you have to pay attention to the stadium amenities, and certainly things like bathrooms, additional bathrooms, or, the ability to use media and digital services, maybe to create the ability to get your food or whatever quicker. I'm not a fan. I know the Bucks do this, because the Bucks you have to order from your seat and then go pick it up. I hate that. I like going and looking at the board. I like being able to pay cash. I like, I still just do. And it's not an old school thing. It's just a menu choice. Some people like say, well, the menu's right there on your phone. That's okay. But there are times where you just want to get up and move, but they, again, for people that don't want to get up and move and they want to keep people in their seats, I understand it. But yeah, I have not really paid that much attention. Grant, have you? I mean, is there anything spectacular that they've added other than the massive new scoreboards at Lambeau Field that has maybe tripped your trigger, caught your eye, or that you even give a damn about?
Well, I don't go to a ton of Packer games. I haven't been to one since 2016. And unfortunately, I missed the ownership meeting this year because I don't know. Well, it was on a Monday, so I had to work. But I might have even been filling in for you the day of the ownership meeting. And I've never been. I'd like to go. I know it's boring and it's a business meeting, but would it be a cool thing to do just once? I know the scoreboards are massive and they're probably always adding bathrooms, but no, I haven't heard or read about much. And it's not like I was at the ownership meeting. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the best person to ask, but you got the porta potty count number down. You're being asked about bathrooms at Lambeau Field. You're just kind of a bathroom authority. I
guess I have no idea where the amenity side of things come from. Now, the motorcycle ride side I get, because it's just one of those things that if you'd hate to overlook, because you really do got to take care of the people that arrive. But it's like the Packers do. But the Packers have had the same amount of people coming into the stadium for years. I don't, unless there's been a bottleneck somewhere of bathroom usage. I don't know what else they need to do, to be quite honest with you. Hey, by the way, and this is kind of off the topic. This is from Jack. Jack said, hey, Unit, I started reading some of the Packers coverage and my subscription has expired to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Have you seen the price lately? $19.99 a month. And I'm like, that can't be right. And sure enough, it is. Because I don't subscribe to a lot of stuff, because otherwise I'd have 45 subscriptions. So I get my source of information from a couple different places. And so sure enough, I went $19.95 or $19.99 a month plus tax for a news outlet. I remember when it was, and again, I don't want to go the old school route, but when they, delivered papers years ago, it wasn't anywhere near that. And even digitally, that was $19.99 a month. Now I get it that the scribes are, it's a dying industry, because with social media and all the different podcasts and outlets and all that kind of stuff, it's really eaten into their business. So I 100% understand it, but $19.99 a month. Do you subscribe to any papers, any news outlets like that within the state at all, Grant?
Yeah, the Journal-Sentinel, I used to. But there's different tiers of subscriptions. I feel like I'm not spending $19.99 a month. I should check my statements, but I do because I like reading Kurt Hogue, who's a good friend of my show, and some of their Packer coverage and some of their Milwaukee things, especially right now with the stadium funding. And it's just really good to have that.
Right.
And I also pay for the Athletic because there's so much content on the Athletic. But that's about it.
Right. I do get the Athletic. I don't know if I've had a password or something for a while or something. I have no idea, but I have not paid for the subscription for the Journal Sentinel for a long time, but I enjoy reading Tom Silverstein, Todd Rosiak for the Brewers, Ryan Wood, all the coverage between them and the Green Bay Press Gazette, because they've kind of combined things. I enjoy it, but damn, I don't remember it being that, because I did one of those not that long ago when I did a home equity loan in my house. I went through every bill that I had. And I started looking in between Netflix. Hulu was like ridiculous. If you get Hulu Live between because I overpay for my cable and internet because of the business. So I have to. But between that, Netflix, Hulu, I was spending almost $400 a month, which was supposed to be, Hulu was supposed to be, hey, cut the cable. This is cheaper. And it's like $67 a month. And now it just went up again at $72. So Hulu's gone.
And it doesn't have a lot of the sports rights that it used to 2 or 3 years ago when a lot of people added it.
No, I completely agree. And I sent them a note because they said, well, what can we do to get you back? I said, nothing. You ridiculous. And then if you spent the extra money, you're supposed to be commercial free. And it's loaded with commercials now. Because my thing was Dateline. I loved watching Dateline and some of the old shows. And then some of the sports when I was on the road, I could travel and I could still watch it on Hulu. And you can't do that anymore. So I'm like, what the hell am I paying for? Why would I do this? So I got rid of Hulu. I'm not a huge Netflix person. I don't watch a lot of movies. Comedy specials, yes. Movies, no. Gone. See ya. So I keep a few subscriptions, but $19.99 a month for the newspaper? Damn. And I don't know if that's happening. I
miss getting the paper delivered in the morning, and then I miss my dad being crabby that it was here at 6:45 instead of 5:45 like it's supposed to be. I miss that. We lost that as a society.
Did you ever deliver papers?
I didn't. I would have loved to have a paper out with my bike as a kid.
I delivered papers. My sister, who had gone on disability, that's what she did. So that was one of the things that she could do. She could drive her car, and then she loaded her van up with the papers and then throw the Cincinnati Enquirer was the newspaper. So I helped her. So I'd get up in the middle of the night and go throw papers. And I used to listen to sports talk. So I just drove around and wailed papers and stuff like that. So I used to do that. And what was worse was the terrible nights were the really cold ones or the rainy ones when it's pouring down rain. So, but I'm with you, man. I used to enjoy getting up, walking to the end of the driveway, grabbing it, you slid that plastic sleeve off of it, you opened it up, and I still to this day, if they came back with that, I would buy it because that I enjoyed. I do enjoy digital, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's there was something to be said for the if you want to go back to the charm and or romance of that getting the scribe. So anyway.
Sunday mornings were the best. We'd get the Eau Claire paper, the big one. Yeah. And then we'd get the Dunn County News, which is our smaller town paper in Menominee and Chippewa, or not Chippewa Falls, but that kind of area. And it would have the marketplace thing. What's it called? The something buyer, the frequent flyer, the town paper, whatever, all the deals. Right. And you could just page through it for an hour and we'd, drink coffee and look at the papers before church. Yeah. I miss that.
By the way, the Journal Sentinel, it's the deal where you pay $1 a month for 6 months and then $19.99 after that. But still, it's $19.99. Like, are you kidding me? No, not going to happen. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And like I said, I do enjoy, what I get out of Ryan Wood and Tom Silverstein and Todd Rosiak and all those guys. And, obviously the Badgers coverage and such. But man, 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by our good buddy Scott Ellis and the gang at Homeside Financial right here in the state of Wisconsin, 414-791-7771. And he keeps telling me, he said, hey, let him know that you have got the ability right now to get a better interest rate than what's out there. And it's called the 2-1 buy down. I don't know a damn thing about it. You can get almost 4.5% go through qualifications. And he said, look, it's a great deal. And then after the interest rates begin to come back down, you can do everything all over again. He said it's just a great way to kind of get around a few things, so to speak. I don't know anything about it. I'm not giving you legal jargon. I'm just kind of putting it into a Cliff Notes idiot version for me. But 414-791-7771. 414-791-7771. That's our buddy Scott Ellis over there at Homeside Financial.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hard to find. Streets of stone. Modern warriors. Satellite horses of chrome. Taste wild.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. I have got to tell you, and I'll tell you in a minute here, but got to tell you about our friends over at Cunis. Got to tell you about our friends at Cunis RV, and the reason being is that they have been fantastic. They not only do they help us out when it comes to the Fisher House and all the charitable stuff that we do, and they've got the Timberley Burn Camp for kids, and they're really, really big into that. They got a motorcycle ride for that actually coming up here towards the end of the month, and we're going to be a part of that. But they just not only do they have really good people, but they are a terrific dealership to work with. If we've ever, not that we ever do, but if we ever have issues, I know that I've been there with Scott Reamer, who's a buddy of mine, and he gets calls and texts all the time from customers, and he's there to help. Our friends from Nexus, which is the company that actually supplies Cunis, that supplies us with a big unit cruiser. My God, I think it's the North American sales leader out of Ontario, Canada, called me just out of the blue, just to say, hey, we know you have one of our units. We just wanted to see, how you're doing, if things are good. I mean, not, again, I don't know if everybody gets that. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but that's the kind of people you deal with. And no wonder they're rated #1 in the state of Wisconsin. For Cunis RV and the fastest growing RV dealer and the #1 rated RV dealer in customer satisfaction. They're great people. So again, go to Cunis, Kunes, CunisRV.com. That is CunisRV.com. And then don't forget, all throughout southern Wisconsin, they have automotive dealers as well. And they give you just the same amount of care, concern, and service. So great people from our friends at Cunis. And we can't do all the stuff we do when it comes to our charitable events and the motorcycle ride and everything without our friends from Cunis. So thanks to them for being a part of the program. Truly, truly, truly special people. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to find us, do it. Got an email from our buddy Steve. He said, today's Journal Sentinel, now a phrase. We get the paper Wednesday and Sunday. The content is awful, little to no stories. There's a few ad inserts, and the carrier promptly delivers the paper at the crack of 9:30. Technology has crushed print media into submission. I was a paper boy delivered in Waukesha, the Waukesha Freeman, for 3 years. That was so long ago, I had to go door to door and collect the fees for the paper myself. I also had to go down to the Freeman office and pay my weekly bill. Great way to learn discipline back in the day. That's our buddy Stephen Richfield. Yeah, it's the collection side of things I never had to do. I didn't worry about that. But back in the day of delivering papers, you usually got the paper had to be in by, I think, like midnight. And then you got up at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and you got into the distribution center, and they gave you had to go get the amount of papers you needed for your route. And then you bagged them. You had to bag them. So if you weren't a fast bagger, you didn't get home till 9 or 10 in the morning, man. So you had to figure it out. You go fold over side, take the big bulky end, slide that into the sleeve, boom, off you go. And you had to be able to do it fast. I mean, real fast. And then you loaded up your car, and your car was just teeming with papers. So unless there were some people that had systems, they put them in like laundry baskets. I didn't do that. I just threw them all in the car, and you just drive, and you get like some fast food overnight. You're grubbing on a burger and wailing stuff out the door and out the window. It was fun. It was a good time. And you're right when you talk about discipline and attention to detail in your job and such. Otherwise, you heard about it in the morning, man. If somebody didn't get their paper, holy smokes, they were pissed off, big time. 877-867-1670. Mark writes, I want to go to this too. I want to get back off of the topic of newspapers, by the way. Marty. Marty says, hey, Bill, I heard you talking earlier about some of the young guys that need to step up. And you mentioned Lucas Van Ness, that you don't think he's going to. Tell me why. It's not that I don't think he can, okay? Because certainly there's a lot of ceiling there. What I'm saying is defensive players, it just takes them longer. And some get it right away. Aiden Hutchinson played pretty well last year. And there's certain guys that come into the league and they're beasts. Bosa's, they come in and they're beasts. Okay, they're like the exceptions to the rules, because if you get one of those top 5-6 guys, usually they're there because of their ability and they can get past a lot of people and they've got speed and hands and the whole thing. But the majority of guys, and I've said this before, you play in your college days and you play in, say, the Big Ten. You play 8-9 games against Big Ten opponents, a game or two against out of Big Ten opponents. And in the Big Ten, you're going to play Rutgers, Indiana, Purdue, maybe Ohio State, Michigan, and Minnesota, whatever. There's your schedule. And then you're going to play Buffalo and Appalachian State. Okay? So you've got a decent schedule. If you win out, because you're in the Big Ten, you're going to get where you need to be. But out of that, really, there's probably going to be maybe 2 guys that you're going to face that have the potential to go pro like you, that it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's going to be a battle where they may whip your ass every play, okay? But for the most part, throughout your season, you're going to beat up on Rutgers, Appalachian State, Buffalo. You're going to get yours, okay? You're going to get yours. You're the Rutgers of the world, maybe beat up on somebody in Minnesota. Who knows, okay? So, but you got maybe 2 guys, Ohio State, Michigan, they get after it, man. They're on your level or maybe higher, and you got a little ass kicking going on both sides, right? When you get to the NFL, everybody can kick your ass. This is not Rutgers. You're not playing the Scarlet Knights. This is not Appalachian State. You're playing the best of the best. Even the worst guy on an NFL roster is probably as good as or better than a lot of the guys you faced in college. So it takes you longer, because in college you had gifted physical ability. You could just, you were bigger, stronger, faster. You could just do it over the majority of guys. So you can stack success, stack statistics, stack film, have impressive highlights over 9 games out of 11. The NFL, that ain't happening. So it takes the defenders longer because, and I remember talking to Rashawn Gary after really pretty much midway through his rookie season. He's like, dude, I used to be able to he watched Reggie White film. He was able to kind of give you that undercut power arm, right? He could do it in college to damn near everybody. That's a move. But in the NFL, you got to have 16 different moves. 17 different moves, 20 different moves, or you have to have more leverage, more power, more strength than the guy across from you. So Rashawn Gary didn't have any more moves. So what did he do? He got his hands out, locked up under pads, and he was able, just because of his sheer lower body strength in his legs and his bull rush, he was able to just beat some people up. Kudos to him. And then as he got better over the years, he got some moves. He figured out some footwork. He got some more speed. He got quicker. He got anticipatory, all that stuff. So it takes guys that are pass rushers a little bit longer. That's the reason why. 877-867-1670. Hit us up again. 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palace 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Summer's winding down, but Road America is still racing. Get your tickets and family fun information at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Bill Michaels Show on the air. Coming up at the end of the first hour of the program. Coming up next hour, going to hear a couple of words from the Hoodie. The Hoodie. Bill Belichick. And I think coming up, we're going to have Matt LaFleur. And I believe he had a presser this morning. Am I wrong in my assumption there, Grant Bills?
I saw pictures of Bill Belichick. I have not seen any pictures of Matt LaFleur, but I'm sure at some point today he's speaking. I don't know the schedule of things, but I'm sure at some point.
Because usually he speaks before practice, and the Packers and the Patriots are now on the practice field. So I would assume that he has spoken, but we will find out. So that is coming up, and anything else you got, it's just one of those wide open days today. What's good news is, and I had a couple people ask me this, is Paul Charchian going to be back this year? The Charge will be here. He will not be here tomorrow. I know some people are coming up getting ready for those drafts. Most drafts are going to take place at the end of the preseason. So we've got a little time. But Charge is out with his beautiful wife, Roxy, and they are traveling the country. He actually kind of followed in some footsteps and called me, was it last year or the year before, and said, hey, I need your advice. And I'm thinking it's sports related in some way, shape, or form. He bought an RV, and him and Roxy, they travel the country with their dogs, and they go have fun. So I texted him, because Grant, you brought it up and said, hey, we're going to get Charged back this year. And I texted him and I said, hey, can you do tomorrow? Can you come on tomorrow? And he sent me a very polite, not going to happen. I am out in the woods and we are RVing and the dogs are enjoying life. And he's got pictures of, fire pits and stuff. So Paul is out traveling. So we will have Paul next week, but I can't wait. Can't wait. So there you have it. This is real quick. This is Elliot. And Elliot says, hey, Bill, how much pressure do you feel is going to be on Matt LaFleur this season? Have we seen the real depth of coaching that he can bring to the table? And it goes on from there, because I take it by Elliot's demeanor in the email that he's not a Matt LaFleur fan. And we can talk about that when we come back. But Elliot, I did not want to ignore your email. So thank you very much. You can always email the program, by the way, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Rick says over on the live stream also, Mike Greenberg has his head so far up the Jets' asses. Oh, there you go. That's a thought, and that's a visual. That's a mental image. I don't think it's the Jets, Jets, Jets. I think it is a person, one person in particular, that if he ever stopped quickly in the hallway, that, you'd hear that, oh, I'm stuck. And you'd open your eyes and, you couldn't see anything. So I get what you're saying, though, Rick. Got it. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Milwaukee Brewers had their 3-game winning streak snapped as they would fall to the Dodgers last night in Los Angeles, 6-2. Offensively, the Brewers would score on a fielder's choice ground out by Sal Frelick in the first, and Carlos Santana hit a home run in the 7th. With the Brewers only collecting 2 hits on the night, starting pitcher Adrian Hauser would go 5 1/3 innings of work, giving up 5 hits and 3 earned runs while striking out 6. Milwaukee still sits 3.5 games above the Cubs and Reds for first place in the NL Central and are back at it tonight at 9:10 against the Dodgers. To the NFL, yesterday the Packers had off of training camp. Today they're back at it with joint practices with the New England Patriots. And Pat's head coach, Bill Belichick, excited to be in Green Bay.
Big week for us here, head to Green Bay. Try to keep, knocking out a few things here, training camp, and then, Green Bay this week. So looking forward to that trip. Been good working with Matt and his staff, and look forward to Wisconsin.
The Packers and Patriots will have joint practices today and tomorrow. Then their second preseason game will be played Saturday at Lambeau Field.
LIUNA stands for the Laborers International Union of North America, a skilled and experienced union with the skills and safety training to be your workforce solution for the Wisconsin construction industry. LIUNA Wisconsin members build infrastructure like roads, bridges, and skyscrapers, as well as solar and wind farms and even pipelines. LIUNA has a long and storied history as they celebrate 120 years as a union. Feel the power of a career as a member of LIUNA. Learn more at liunawisconsin.org.
So Wisconsin football have another game time released. Their homecoming game against Rutgers, October 7th, will be at 11 a.m. and on the streaming service Peacock. The Badgers open up their season in about 2.5 weeks, September 2nd, against Buffalo. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in, one and all, everybody over on the network. Everybody's saying big family, all getting together. We're all back, reconvening. If you want to find us on Twitter, you can do it at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Grant Bill's producing the program at Wisco Grant. You can find me on Instagram, The Bill Michaels Show. Also, Facebook fan page. Go to facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. There is YouTube, which I can't ask you enough. Please subscribe there. You can also pay attention to us over there. YouTube.com/Bill Michaels Show. YouTube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Same thing on Twitch TV. If you download the Twitch app or the Kick app, same thing, Bill Michaels Show. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Thebillmichaels@gmail.com. We are upgrading our website as we speak. So keep checking that out. Thebillmichaels.com. Thebillmichaels.com. And the Zone, WOZN, the Zone Madison. You can find the app there, the Zone Madison. And also you can listen after the fact on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all the different podcast capability there as well. So that's it. Plenty of different ways. There you go. The question from Elliot before we went to the top of the hour break via email was, what do I think of Matt LaFleur basically? And is he on the hot seat? And will we see the real Matt LaFleur? It's weird because I got that question similarly last night at our cigar dinner. And my answer is this. I think this year you will see more of the Matt LaFleur that was hired rather than the versions of the Matt LaFleur that we've seen over the last couple of years. I think Matt LaFleur came into this situation in a very tough spot. It was widely known that Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy were not getting along. Mike McCarthy was subsequently fired. There was a divide, if you will, via the team. It was Team Rodgers or Team McCarthy. And many players began to go Team Rodgers, offensively speaking. So Matt LaFleur had to come into the Packers organization and really bond and build a relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And that's where the concentration was. That was job one. And remember, the relationship was a priority with Brian Gutekunst, Russ Ball, Mark Murphy. Remember Mark Murphy and the infamous words of, hey, don't be the problem, Aaron, because temperamentally, I guess it was relatively well known. So you had that as priority one, not just coaching. So he coaches, he builds a relationship. It's new. It's more innovative. It's more out of the Shanahan playbook. It ignites, it excites Aaron Rodgers, and they have a pretty good relationship in year one and had success. I still go back to, and I bring it up all the time. The most significant thing for me early on with Matt LaFleur was early on in that season. It might have been game one or game two, but Rodgers rolling to his right has Aaron Jones open over the middle. Devontae Adams starts out on a comeback route. He's covered. He then starts to kind of improvise, and he's moving around, and Rodgers is rolling out to his right, and he's pointing, and Devontae just can't get open at that moment in time. And Rodgers holds on. And the whole time, Aaron Jones he's now ordered a pizza. He's bought a beer. A pitcher's been delivered to his table. He is grubbing down a good mushroom, sausage, pepperoni pizza. And he's sitting in the middle of the field with his legs crossed, sitting in a reclining type of chair, enjoying the view from Lambeau Field's field. I mean, he was that wide open. And Rodgers then throws the ball out of bounds. Clearly, Aaron Jones was the secondary receiver, but Rodgers locked on Devontae and wanted Devontae. Rodgers throws the ball out of bounds. LaFleur rips the headset off around his neck, runs, sprints down the sideline, gets down to about the 20, and he's yelling. And Rodgers, with his hands out, like, what do you want me? He says, you can see it. Mike Clemens and I are sitting there, and we had the binoculars on him. You could see his mouth, but they showed it on TV. And he arms out. He says, what do you want me to do? And Matt LaFleur, when it quickly catches Matt LaFleur, looks right at him angrily and like, throw the effing ball. And I thought, there you go. That he's not taking crap. That's a coach. He's not going to allow Rodgers to do the I'm locking on one guy thing. Damn it, do it this way. And I thought, boy, this is great. And they went on to a very successful season. And after that fire eroded. Oh, he'd get mad at other players, but it all became the massaging of the relationship of Rodgers. More so, in my opinion, than it was just about football. Okay. So now, fast forward to today. That is all gone. This is about strictly coaching up the next, bringing in youth, getting them up to speed, coaching them with their staff to the best of their ability, and getting this team ready to play football. And all the other stuff, while it may be cordial, it may be coach speak, and there's care and there's concern for everything away from the field as well. We know that, coaches and players have relationships, but it's not like it was. The 8 million pound gorilla is out of the room. So now it's back to coaching. So when I'm asked, what do I think of Matt LaFleur as a coach? I don't know yet, because I want to see that Matt LaFleur running down the sideline, seeing his play that was designed to work and would have worked, getting into a quarterback or a player to say, this is how we drew it up, and you didn't run it the right way. And I'm going to let you know about it. And then, do you make the same mistake twice or 3 times or 5 times or whatever? So I don't think we have totally seen the Matt LaFleur coach and the Matt LaFleur offense. And I know he hates that, but I really don't care. But is he on the hot seat? No. Oh, the only time he's on the hot seat, or any coach is on the hot seat, is if you lose the team. If the team looks at you and goes, this guy's an idiot. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Or he does things or says things that the players inside that locker room don't respect. And then if there have been people that have said, I did this wrong, but they won't admit it to the people that they wronged. You don't respect them. So if he loses the team, then he's on the hot seat. But as far as being, have we seen the best of Coach Matt LaFleur? I don't know. We'll find out a lot this season. Is he on the hot seat going into the season? No, not at all. He's had a lot of success. through some really trying times. But it's a deep, make you think type of question that I appreciate. This was another question last night, and I wanted to, and we had some great questions. The last question I answered last night, and this guy brought this up and brought my own words back to haunt me. But when Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy first became the guys after the exodus of Brett Favre, I had said, doing the postgame show at the time, I had said Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers are now on the clock. That was in 2008. I said they are now on the clock because this is either going to work or it's going to be a dismal failure and everybody's going to be out of a job. And a gentleman last night said, you said that, and asked me about, okay, now if you look at Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, they're on the clock. What is the clock? And that was a great question last night. And I looked at it this way. I said, first of all, Jordan Love is on the clock. Matt LaFleur, yeah, to a certain extent, but Jordan Love's on the clock. Because this, make no mistake about it, this can be a 1-year deal. If he looks bad or looks like he just isn't going to get it, like mentally makes the same mistakes, makes the same poor throws, makes the same bad decisions, whatever, he very well could find himself with serious competition in camp next year if they decide to draft, move up in the draft and get themselves a quarterback. Say there's a team that has a quarterback, but they just had a really terrible season and they've already got their guy, but they're going to draft high for a wide receiver or a tight end or a defensive pass rusher, whatever. And you get Aaron Rodgers, who plays 65% of the snaps, and you have not one but 2 first-round draft choices next year that you can trade, that is viable, commodities to give to a team who could then end up with 2 or 3 first-round draft choices next year. You got to think that they could use that and parlay that into, say, a Caleb Williams at the top of the draft next year. So would you take Caleb Williams or Jordan Love? I think right now most of us would probably go Caleb Williams. I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams' attitude because I think he's so full of himself. I don't think the stadium's big enough to contain his ego, but he's talented. I can admit that. So that's why Jordan Love's on the clock. He's got to look like an NFL quarterback, and he's got to win games. Now, whether he has to win 12, 13, 10, 7, I don't know what the magic number is, but he's got to look like he's an NFL quarterback and that he's capable of ascending. So he's on the clock because his termination in that contract is in the immediacy or his success. So I think it's a little bit different circumstance at this point. Jason says, didn't we just get rid of a big ego? Yes, but that ego also came with a big contract. And the NFL will humble you in a heartbeat. If you can't walk the walk right away in the NFL, no, baby, nah. I don't think he's Cam Newton ego and flash and circumstance, but just from the things that I've seen at USC, certain things in spotlight situations, it kind of rubs you the wrong way. He makes it more about him than he does the team and stuff like. And that to me is, I don't know, that to me is bothersome a little bit. Maybe it's old school. I don't know. I appreciate a team being a team and not an individual being a look at me guy and kind of leaving everybody else in the dust. And that's kind of Caleb Williams right now because he knows he's the show at USC. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, if you got an opinion, you got a question, you got a comment, we would love to hear from you. Phone lines absolutely, positively wide open at this point. Give us a shout. We would love to hear from you. This portion of the program brought to you, by our buddy Mikey Whitcomb over there at Exit Realty. Call Mikey whether you're in Milwaukee, Ozaki, Jefferson County, Waukesha County. He can get you done. That's Mikey Whitcomb. He's the guy that went through, I think it was 12 houses before I landed on the house that I currently reside in. And he put up with all my crap and gave me some great advice, some great knowledge, and really worked the deal for me the best he could. 414-243-1976. 414-243-1976. Again, 414-243-1976. That's Mikey Whitcomb and Exit Realty.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palla's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
if by chance you are going to be doing what I'm doing tonight, then I know what you're doing today. That's heading down to Robert Specialty Meats down in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Tonight on the docket, a small single portion Al Capone roast. Tonight's going to be beautiful outside. I got some running around to do afterwards. I got a couple of meetings and I got a couple things I have to, errand-wise, I have to take care of. But I'm going to stop down at Robert Specialty Meats because I'm going to be down that way as well. But I'm going to stop there, getting a personal Al Capone roast, big salad, and they have fresh asparagus down there too. So I'm going to grab some of that. Coming home, going to turn the TV on in the patio out back. When we were out in Deadwood, out in Sturgis this past week, went to Deadwood Tobacco Company, and they got a couple of new cigars, and one is called a Midnight Oil. It's one of the best cigars I've ever had, and it's going to be rebranded under a different name, but they had a special release just for Sturgis. But got a cigar, and I've got the Al Capone roast. I got a salad, couple of beverages. I'm going to put my feet up on another chair across from me. I'm going to eat, going to watch some TV, probably watch some of the fantasy stuff that's going on the NFL Network. And I'm going to relax tonight. I got some stuff to do outside. I'm probably going to take the laptop outside with me, but that's my night tonight.
You know, Bill, you said you were making a single roast.
Yes.
I don't want to limit you. If you want to make more food, I can come over and help you eat it. Like, I don't want you to feel limited because you don't have enough people to
Here's
feed.
the
I can
thing,
help
Grant
you out.
Bills. You are correct because you are now, 48 minutes for me, I think, from door to door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not far at all. I mean, I can anything you need. You need someone to take the RV out for a cruise because the battery's getting low, or you know, if the beer is going to go old and get spoiled in your fridge, I can help you with a great many things. You just got to send me a text.
Whenever you want to swing over this way, you let me know and I will have something ready to go. But that's my night tonight. So
I've heard about the Robert Specialty Meats ribs on a stick forever.
The ribs on a stick are, and I kid you not, we took 3 pounds with us out to Sturgis, and we had friends with us, and one of our friends had never had them before, and he's like, "What are these things?" And I said, "They take the rib meat, they take them off the bone, they cook these things, they smoke them, they slow roast them, they take them off the bone, they skewer them, and then they put them in this marinade." This sauce / whatever oil marinade. You don't need to do anything to them. You literally take them, pick them up, put them on the grill, and you don't need to really cook them because they've already been cooked. So you just need to brown them a little bit, warm them up, put them on the grill, and oh my God. So I said, here you go. So I gave him the first, and the first one was like this big, juicy rib meat dripping with sauce. And he's like, okay, let's try these things. And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. I said, I told you, it's like eating ribs without the issue of pulling them off the bone. You can put them in more sauce if you want to. Now, what I like to do is I take some sauce. I get our sauce from our Burn Pit Barbecue guys, although Roberts has sauce too, but I get Burn Pit Barbecue sauce. That's a little more spicy. And I take a tin of that, a little tin bucket, and I pour some in the bucket, and then I set that on the grill until I get one bubble, because then I know it's hot. Once you get that one bloop, like a tar pit type of bubble, you know it's hot in there because here comes the air coming out of the bubbles. So you take it off and you know it's warm. And then all you do is you take the rib on a stick, you drizzle some of that stuff on there, and oh my God, that's a whole different experience in rib meat. So yeah, we will get you over for some ribs on a stick, an Al Capone roast, Al Capone sausage. You can do I can go on and on with all the different stuffs that they have down at Robert Specialty Meats, but my God, such good stuff. Go to robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com. Sounds like, eventually. Now, when's the next time you're coming this way, Grant?
Well, I'm taking a vacation day next week, so Stone Cold Austin's going to help you out because I'm going to a Brewer game with a big group next Wednesday. I haven't been to a game yet this summer, and some friends hit me up, and I'm like, I don't normally like doing middle of the week Brewers games, but I haven't been to one, so next week, I guess, next Wednesday.
Okay. Well, next Wednesday, I don't know what the hell I'm doing next Wednesday. Oh, next Wednesday is Wednesday Night Live.
Ooh, I've never been to Wednesday Night Live.
You want to go to that? You can make it a double dip.
I was going to say I could cross a couple things off my list.
So this is what you do is you come into town, you go to the Brewers game, come over to the house afterwards, and then go down to Wednesday Night Live for a while with me. And then, about 9:00, you head back home, catch part of Wednesday Night Live, and then you head back home.
That's a good day. That's a really good day.
That's a banner day.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
Actually, we're going to be doing some stage stuff for Wednesday Night Live because I think next Wednesday is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Rebel Grace is playing on the stage. And then the following Wednesday is Bella Kane. So two really well-followed bands. And if the weather's good, man, the nights are going to be packed.
And you're getting up on stage?
Yeah, I'm doing some stuff for the motorcycle ride.
I saw pictures of you at Sturgis. It looked like you were hyping up the crowd like at a WWE event.
Yeah.
You got the mic and you're getting the crowd right. I'm like, holy smokes, Bill.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I got to admit, I did the halftime show for Packers games for years and years and years for Chevy. And that was great. And that's your 70 plus thousand people, for something like that. And, you do get a chance to do that kind of, but when you go to a rock concert and you are the one that is then not only preaching your stuff, but then opening for the band, introducing the band, and the place is going crazy. There's an adrenaline rush to that. That is just off the charts. It's just really cool. But they had probably 20,000 people there for Jackal. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. A lot of people. And what's really cool is you get a lot of response off of that because they're all motorcycle riders. And we ended up, not only did we get some recognition off of that with riders, Easy Rider Magazine, which is one of the biggest motorcycle magazines in the country, did a whole piece on it, on the ride and how it's grown over the years. And we started with 42 bikes and now we're, we were almost 1,100 last year and 8.5 miles worth of motorcycles. And it was a really nice article that was written in Easy Rider Magazine. So it was kind of cool, kind of neat. So anyway, there you have it. I digress. What else do we have here for you? This is from Kathy. Kathy said, did you watch Hard Knocks last night? I have not. Haven't, because I was doing the cigar dinner. I traveled up and back last night to Chippewa Falls. I'm going to sit down hopefully tonight. That's going to be one of the things that I pop up on the television before the Brewers game. So I have not. I don't want to hear about it. Don't tell me about it yet, because I haven't had a chance to catch the episode, but I will. So we'll see. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. What else do we have here for? Oh, by the way, coming up here shortly, we will have Matt LaFleur. We'll have his presser today and some of the comments he's made. This one is from Chuck. Chuck says, hey, Bill, not only did you make me hungry, but you fired me up for this season with Matt LaFleur and what his offense is going to look like. Do you think it's going to look much different from what he was running with Aaron Rodgers and Rodgers' control over the offense? That's just it. I don't know. I don't know what control Rodgers had over the offense. If you go by what Rodgers said, he had an either-or play. Every time he went to the line of scrimmage, he had an either-or. So one or the other, okay. So if that's the case, then you've already seen the majority of the Matt LaFleur offense. What I'm interested to see, now here's some things to think about. When they face it, let's say once they get out of the first 15 or 20 plays that are scripted, the offense got very blasé. Specifically at the end of the season last 4 or 5 games. So I want to see the creativity throughout an entire game. That's what I'm looking for. Also, and this to me is the biggest thing, because you're going to face more of this year, you would assume. When this team has had success early on, they go down, they score, whether it's a field goal, touchdown, whatever, and they get up a little bit and they're starting to really kind of feel it. And then they face adversity, fumble, pick, whatever. It's like this team goes into this protective shell. We saw it against Tampa Bay. We saw it against San Francisco. We saw it against Detroit. They just collapse. There's a mentality there, and I don't know if it's play calling and going, oh my God, conservative, we can't do that again, or if it was Rodgers, I don't know. But that's one of the things specifically I want to see, that if this team faces adversity, do they come out aggressive after the fact and say, no, we're not going to let this define us? Or is this going to be a team that again and again and again and again, continuously under Matt LaFleur's tutelage, goes into a shell? That's another thing that I want to see. And that to me is a really big issue this year. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Summer's winding down, but there's still time to experience the roar and excitement of racing. Road America is running, and you don't want to miss out on this last chance to feel the rumble. Campsites are available, and public karting is open. There's something for everyone at Road America. For tickets and all the family fun information, go to roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
A long time, and they've had a lot of success. And
Bill Michaels Show, back at you. Back at you on a Wednesday. The 16th of August. Can't believe we're more than halfway through August. Holy crap. Where in the world? Where in the world did the summer go? Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've had a lot of great experiences this year and done a lot of really cool stuff. But man, this summer has completely flown by. Whew. When you're kids, you want the summer to drag so you don't have to go back to school. And when you get old, you want the summer to drag so you don't have to deal with the cold. And because God knows nobody wants to shovel snow. And the first thing you think is, oh, holy mackerel. Coming out of Lambeau Field after a Monday night game or a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game, and you turn the corner and you've got that howling wind in late December or January. You're wearing a long overcoat and you've got your, scarf around your neck, but you breathe in and you go, because it takes your breath away because you hit that cold air and you're like, boy, this sucks. I can't wait till summer. That's the first thing. Kristen loves the fall. She loves the fall. She loves falling leaves. She loves bonfires, hot cocoa with a little bit of, something in there, all that. She loves it. Me, give me hazy, hot and humid, 78 degrees at night. I'll take that every damn day of the week. Big time. But she's a fall person. So fall and winter. I am a summer. Spring, yes. Summer. Fall, I like football, but give me summer. If all year round, I'd take it in a heartbeat. Take it in a heartbeat. Hey, speaking of fall and football, Matt LaFleur at the podium a little bit earlier today. Let's take a listen to what the head coach had to say.
Coach, I don't know if you've talked about this, but who approached who about this week? Did you talk to Bill after the game last year? Did you guys talk at the owners' meeting? How did that work out?
I'm pretty sure that we reached out. He's a guy that you always want to go against people that you respect. And obviously he's been able to bend the model of consistency in this league for a long time. And they've had a lot of success. And I think it's no secret. He's highly regarded as one of the greatest coaches of all time. So why not try to steal a little piece from how they do things and just get a closer look at it.
I know you've talked about Carrington a few times, but you look at the history of late round draft picks at that position, it's slow going, right? Kind of based on your experience, what's made him kind of stand out, maybe compared to some other guys who, much of the little hit on guys?
Yeah, every person's different. I think he's a guy that obviously has a lot of talent, and I think he's approached it the right way. I think G Money and Hoodie are doing a great job with him, and he's getting a lot of opportunities based on, especially with a guy like Stokes being out, and he's taking full advantage of those. And he keeps every practice he makes a play. You guys saw at the end of the last practice we had making that pick six, and he's super talented, and he's just maximizing those ops.
Of course, Grant Dubose had that long layoff when he's been back on the practice field a couple days. I guess, where do you think he's at, and what are your early impressions of what you've seen of him on the field?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Grant, especially. You never quite know when a guy's missed that much time. We haven't seen him at all, any live exposure. And for him to be able to get in there in some situations, and we knew in the classroom he was really sharp. I mean, he was on top of everything, asking a ton of questions and always reaching out to Vrabel. And I think, Jason Vrabel does a heck of a job with that room. But he's getting in there and taking advantage of those opportunities as well. Just knowing what to do, playing fast, definitely has aggressive hands. So we're excited about him.
When you have a guy like Carrington, who's at a position where guys don't come off the field, right? I mean, like corners play all 70 snaps or whatever. And if he's not in your top 3, do you have to somehow find a way to just get him on the field in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think we definitely have to look at something because he's done a lot up to this point. And again, he's got to keep progressing. There's still a lot of ball in front of us in terms of practices. We got 2 more preseason games, so we'll just see how he progresses. But up to this point, he's worthy of getting some snaps for sure.
We know what you like to say about the offensive line is the best 5, regardless of
position. Have I said that before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once or twice.
All right.
Is that the same way that you approach the secondary, or is that just too different between corner and safety? Do you have to get your best 5 out there?
You'd like to. I do think it's a little bit different in regards to it takes a very specific person, especially to play that nickel position. However, I do think he has some of those traits, and we'll just see kind of how it plays itself out.
Is that the same between corner and safety? Like if you've got someone that can drop back to safety, you got a lot of depth at corner. Do you have to try to get him on the field?
I think that's certainly a possibility. Yeah, I think you could absolutely do that. I think there's different requirements, I would say, in terms of just coming up and fitting some of the runs, and just there's different responsibility, totally different position, although they're all classified as defensive backs. I think the job criteria is a little bit different between a corner and a safety and even a nickel.
Can Douglas do that? And have you considered moving him back there?
Yeah, potentially. I think just, it's trying to find those best 5, I guess. We'd sneak that in there. But, we're going to look at everything. We'll look at everything and try to put our best people who can make plays. And if Sewell's one of those guys, I certainly know we had Sewell obviously in there at the nickel position last year quite a bit. So he has a really high football IQ, and he understands, the jobs of really everybody in the back end. But I think it's kind of, we'll see where it goes.
Will Bakhtiari or Alexander do team today?
No David today. And Ja, we'll see kind of where he's at when we get out there.
Bakhtiari go tomorrow?
That's the plan, but we always know that that's a pretty fluid plan.
Matt, is Stokes ready to start doing anything yet?
No, he's not.
I've covered this before, but will you get time away from the field with Coach Belichick to sit down and walk through things, talk about things, learn, however that works?
Nothing's planned as of this moment.
Matt, before Samori got here, he had not really done returns in 5-6 years. What was it that you and Rich saw that made you want to try him out back there?
I think we go through all the guys, especially some of those skilled players, wideouts, running backs, some of the DBs, and you're just trying to find people who have a natural ability to catch the football. And obviously he's got great speed and he can make people miss. So it's just, and quite frankly, you're kind of looking at how you round out your roster and where people can bring other value than just their position group.
Man, are you counting on Bill to do some blitzing in this, practices, or did you talk to him about it? Is that good work for Jordan? I mean,
I have no idea what's coming our way. I mean, you got to be ready for everything, and that's part of the challenge. But I think you get a true indication of kind of where your guys are at in regards to knowing your rules. You watch tape, but anytime that you've gone against a defense like this, it's a very game plan, predicated defense where they could throw a lot of different things at you. And that is a challenge, but one that, we're excited for. And it's great to have that in a practice setting.
Is it more likely they'll do some stuff here than they would in the game on Saturday because it's?
That's a great question for Bill and his crew. I have no idea what's coming. Personnel wise, they could be, they've played with 7 DBs before. They could be a dime, nickel, base. I really don't know. But, that's why there's a little bit of game plan, I would say, that goes into practices in regards to, because you don't want to get out there and just put yourself in a really bad situation, having a play up that you can only run versus like a base defense. And they might be a nickel or penny or whatever they're in.
So I assume that's good for Jordan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, it just goes back to how well does he know our offense. It's not just him. It's the 11 men out there. Just trusting your rules and playing what you see.
Matt, do you plan on having any one-on-ones between the lines?
No.
Nothing. And have you talked to you guys in light of some of the skirmishes in Cincinnati about holding their water?
Yes. You ever seen Peaky Blinders?
Of course.
When Thomas Shelby comes in and says no fighting?
The kitchen scene, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Great show. Any up downs for the loser today, or?
No.
Hey, Matt, where'd you think Hansen was last year? Before he got injured and just being able to get him back now for this stretch.
Yeah, I thought he was doing a great job last season, and it was an unfortunate injury, and he's missed a lot of time. But I think he's attacked it the right way and doing everything he can to be available.
More, please. When it comes to these joint practices, the second set for the second week in a row, what do you want your players to get out of these sets of joint practices with the Patriots?
Same thing we do every time we step out on that practice field. It's an opportunity to get better, and it's nice to compete against somebody else and where you get different looks and you don't know their personnel quite as well, what they like to do. And it really challenges you not only physically, but mentally.
Matt, you've moved a lot of offensive linemen around to get that versatility. Although it seems like so far Elton's basically stayed at left guard. Is there a desire to kind of just keep him there now?
Yeah, in a perfect world, that's what will happen. But we don't live in a perfect world all the time, and he's got to be ready to go anywhere. And that's the beauty of him. I think that he has experience, whether it's playing center or tackle, and you can move him all over the place.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. That is Matt LaFleur talking to the media just a little while ago before heading out to the practice facility or outside with the New England Patriots, who are doing the joint practice at Lambeau over at the Ray Nitschke Field today and tomorrow this week, and then they're getting ready for Saturday night's contest between these two teams. So there you go. There was one question in there that has gotten a lot of response on the live stream and over on Twitter and via emails, two emails that have come in as well. I want to talk about that when we come back, because I think some people are just getting crazy. So I want to get into that when we return. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at the Social House, Haus. That is Dan Della's place. Him and his wife, Allison, they do a great job. The Tiger Burger over there is awesome. So if you like a little spice to your burger, great thing to do. That's the Social House, Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls. Always sports on the tubes, and the new renovation, the indoor, the outdoor patio, the garage doors are open. Great place. Stop in and check out the Social House, Haus, on West Lisbon Road in Menominee Falls.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palla's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Always a crazy one, broke into the stadium, and I wrote your number on the 50-yard line.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. This segment brought to you by our buddy Gino and the gang at Calderon Club, downtown Milwaukee, 838 Old World 3rd Street. And I haven't been down there in a while. I got to get down that way. I miss going to San Giorgio over to the pizzeria and grabbing the Bill Michaels or the San Giorgio, which both are tremendous pizzas in their own right. But I haven't been down in a while, so I got to get down there. Maybe we'll see you down there if you're heading that direction. 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee, the best Italian food you're ever going to stick in your grill. So the Matt LaFleur presser, one particular comment in there set off some people. And I want to go through this again. The comment about David Bakhtiari. The question was, about David, and nope, David will not practice today. And everybody goes off. There's no reason why. David Bakhtiari said he feels great. There's no problems. As a matter of fact, he called Elton Jenkins before training camp even started, said, hey, we're going to be the best left side of an offensive line in all of football. Are you ready? Let's do this. He's there. He has not had an issue. He has not felt problems, as far as we know. Now, Mike Clemens did question as to whether or not David Bakhtiari should or should not have been running out of the tunnel on family night because Bakhtiari didn't practice. And usually everybody's on hand for that. And there was a handful of guys that didn't, Bakhtiari being one of them. Okay. But every time Matt LaFleur says, hey, Bakhtiari's not going to practice, people go crazy. There's something wrong with him. He's still not right. We don't know. From what I understand and everything we've been told is he's fine. He's fine. He doesn't need all the reps. He's been there, done that. He's one of, if not the most veteran player they have. But Tidbit says, we're never going to honestly know what's really going on. Seriously. Well, if he plays, then who cares? It's just been a very 2-year problematic knee that at the end of last season, he didn't have any problems. There was no off-season surgery. There was no off-season rehab. None of that. So they just know there's only so many reps in a guy like that. They want to preserve him for the entire season. That's it. I really don't think there's anything more to it than that. If he was a young guy, we would probably be raising some eyebrows. But he's not. Veteran player, last year of his deal, they want to make sure they get the most out of him. And the whole thing about trading him to the Jets, and I know the Jets have a bad offensive line, but I'm if the Jets are willing to, give up a ton, for this go for it mentality, okay, that's fine. But beyond that, I personally, I'm done. I'm done with the Jets. I'm done with the hey, let's send him to Aaron Rodgers. He'd be happy there. Who cares? Done with it. But this is David's last year in Green Bay. We all know that. Yes, I know he's under contract next year, but they're not going to pay that. The out money on that, the dead money on that, is a lot less than what the actual salary is. So this is his last season in Green Bay. If you look at David Bakhtiari, because David Bakhtiari this year is the highest paid player, but the cap hit next year for his salary is $40.4 million, while the dead cap money would be, if you cut him, would be 19. So you'd actually save yourself $20 million going into next season. So most likely it will be his last year in Green Bay. He becomes an unrestricted free agent the year after that anyway, but yeah, probably going to cut him next year after this season. Cut him loose. But I don't think there's anything more to it other than the fact that they are just giving the guy as much rest as possible, keep him sharp, and make sure he's ready for the season. That's it. I don't think there's a whole lot more to it than that. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Stay tuned. Whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are on the field for the first of 2 joint practices with the Patriots in Green Bay. That includes cornerback Carrington Valentine. The 6th-round pick has been among the standouts of camp so far, even getting some work with the first-team defense when Jair Alexander's missed time with injury. So it was fair to wonder if Coach Matt LaFleur thinks they need to find a way for him to be on the field despite their solid depth at cornerback.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to look at something because he's done a lot up to this point, and again, he's got to keep progressing. There's still a lot of ball in front of us in terms of practices. We got 2 more preseason games, so we'll just see how he progresses. But up to this point, he's worthy of getting some snaps for sure.
One option would be to move Rasul Douglas to safety, something LaFleur said could be a possibility. Again, the Packers and Patriots are on the field for day 1 of their joint practices. Teams also going to face off on Saturday night in preseason game number 2. Turning to the Badgers, after a day off, they were back on the field for practice this morning as well. They were a little more than 2 weeks out from the start of their season on September 2nd against Buffalo.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
If you're interested in a rewarding career with a strong Wisconsin company, Rural Mutual Insurance is looking to add to their growing team of successful employees and agents. Apply online today at ruralmutual.com/careers.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Brewers leading the NL Central is still at 3.5 games despite falling 6-2 to the Dodgers last night. That's because the Cubs and Reds also lost yesterday. Crew will look to bounce back tonight against L.A. Wade Miley goes for Milwaukee. Dodgers send Clayton Kershaw. First pitch is at 9:10. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil. Print.
Good to have you on board. Bill Michaels Show, we continue. I have got a lot of people that ask me about the question regarding the offensive line for the New York Jets and whether or not David Bakhtiari is wanting to go to New York after Robert Saleh last night in Hard Knocks got into his offensive line. And again, I don't want to give away too many details or read about it because I haven't seen it yet. So I do want to mention that. But I had said going into the top of the hour, you know what? I really, unless the Jets step up and say, hey, they want to reunite David Bakhtiari and Aaron Rodgers, we're going to fully guarantee that first-round draft choice. We're going to give you a second-round draft choice on top of it for the services of David Bakhtiari, whatever. I mean, you would owe him whatever remaining money there is. I don't think you could, to be honest with you. I don't know specifically what the financial side of things, the ramifications would be, but I got to think that if you trade away David Bakhtiari, the signing bonus money and such would come due. But I don't know if you would owe him the restructure money, because if the restructure money and the signing bonus then come due, and because the base salary is only 1.2, which I don't know what the Packers would be responsible for and what David be, or what the Jets would be. Because you don't have, because his total salary, his cap hit this year for salary money wise would be 21.289. So I don't know how much of that money would be still for the Green Bay Packers. I got to assume that a majority of that would go to the Jets, but I know sometimes your signing bonus things come due, so you actually would save money if it's just the signing bonus side of things that's paid by the Packers. The Jets would be on the hook then for what, $15 million, and the signing bonus would be $6 million that the Packers, so they would actually in essence gain $15 million for this season, if indeed that's the direction they decided to go. But again, we're getting far in the weeds, because I honestly think that that's not even something that I believe that is what you and I would be as far as the swirl of what if. But that is not something going on behind the scenes, I got to assume, between the Jets and the Packers. There is absolutely zero rumor out there that this is something that's taken place between Brian Gutekunst and the New York Jets. So I don't think that's there. So just so we're clear, I don't think there's any there and all of that. Trying to think here what else.
Well, we can ask Mike Clements about David Bakhtiari.
Yeah.
If there's anything swirling at Packers practice. Mike called in just for a quick update. If we can chat with him here for just
let's do that. Let's go to Mike up in Green Bay, who was there at the joint practice between the Patriots and the Packers. Michael, how you doing, pal?
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, there's all these NFL national experts, and that's in big quotes, in the spring, like, well, hey, why stop there? Why just trade David Bakhtiari to New York and get some more stuff for him? And maybe Bakhtiari, one of his best friends wants to join the, New York Jets East, or New York Packers East, whatever the hell that LaFleur called them. The last time we talked to Bakhtiari, he's pretty much seemed dead set committed. That was him and Elton Jenkins on the left side of the line of the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love in this season. And then we see what happens after that. So he was really selling at least from the player's standpoint, he's not interested in going to New York. So we'll see. In the meantime, you start seeing Bakhtiari being saved so much, missing back-to-back practices. You wonder, is that just because they're trying to get him on the field for 17 games and he's having the same problems with the knee that he gave in detail a couple of years ago, drainage, things like that. And then you see weird things happen in the Bengals game, like suddenly John Runyon, like a lockdown right guard, taking a lot of snaps, not just a few, a lot of snaps in the game against the Bengals. And suddenly we kind of like Rasheed Walker here all of a sudden. Like, man, maybe we could put Josh Nijman at left tackle and we could put Rasheed. But you know what? Maybe that's also just planning for worst case scenario that Bakhtiari, can't perform. And I got to think that, Joe Douglas and the Jets have got to be leery about Bakhtiari when they see that, the guy can't practice every day in camp because of his history with that knee. I don't know. That would be a tough sell on part of the Jets front office, right?
You would assume, Mike, let me ask you this, and just you've seen him up close and personal more than anybody. Does Bakhtiari look hurt, or is it just that they are just legitimately taking it easy on a guy that went through almost 2 years worth of just stress and strife just to be able to come back and play football?
No, it just looks like it's been for the last year and a half. Like, they're just being careful. And, if he's wearing that sleeve on his left leg, you can't really take a look at the knee and see if it's swollen or whatever the problems he's had. That's what I imagine is happening. It's all about the life of inflammation and cold tubs. And, if you're out there for a couple of days and trying to hold off Preston Smith or something like that on your own defense, you got arrested for a couple of days after that. So, he's 31 years old. And as I say, no, but you know what the hell? Aaron Rodgers says he was going to finish the Packer too.
Right.
So, I mean, who the hell thought he was going to be with the Jets a year from today? So anyway, we got joint practice going on, and the Patriots are here. There's a huge crowd. The weather is just perfect for it. A little bit of a breeze. And I went and watched first team defense. I've been watching so much of offense this camp to see how things are going to sort out on the offensive line with the wide receivers. And the first play, wait a minute, what did I miss? Oh, that's defense out there against the first team ones, and they just batted down another pass. I went and watched the Patriots first team offense and watching Mac Jones there. And first play, nice completion to Juju Smith-Schuster, and then try to get to Devontae Parker. After that, though, man, Rasul Douglas and Carrington Valentine, who's out there at the other corner. Jair dressed, and he warmed up, but he's been pretty much standing on the sidelines with a slight groin strain he suffered last week, Wednesday, in the joint practice. They are giving this number 37, Carrington Valentine, all kinds of opportunities now, especially after another pick six in practice on Monday. And so the Packers' first-team defense shut down the Patriots. The Patriots look really flat in their preseason game against the Houston Texans. And Devondre Campbell, linebacker, not at practice today. He's got some sort of an ankle injury, but that's really been the story so far, how good the Packers' defense has looked out here today.
Mike, these joint practices and such, do they really go as full on out after it as Matt LaFleur would like to make it sound? Because he keeps taking these joint practices and equating them to game conditions.
When you're going against your own team in training camp 2023, they call it SUD. First time I heard somebody say that was Mike Sherman, 20 years ago. And it's 75%. It's if you're a linebacker and a running back comes out and it's your teammate, but you give him a shoulder, you pop him, you wrap up, you show that, hey, I did everything but complete the tackle. I could have killed this guy. I could have wrapped up. I could have knocked him out. But I'm in position. I wrap up. I touch him. I give him a thud, and that's a little bump. But just a few minutes ago, first team Packers offense is out there. Jordan Love hands off to Dillon, and A.J. Dillon goes running up the middle, and man, one of these linebackers just punched it out, and he got very physical, but they put the ball on the ground. The Packers put the ball on the ground, so that's what they're looking for. It's just shy of tackling to the ground. And occasionally guys do get tackled to the ground, but you're not crushing guys, but you're clearly showing you're wrapped up, your tackles, stop the play, blow the whistles. So it's just a little more physical than if we were just Packers on Packers out here.
Anything else we need to be aware of, Mike, as you sit there probably in your own hoodie?
Yeah, Belichick, it's funny. The Patriots are trying a whole new level of arrogance. Even though these guys, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. They're third place in the division last year between the Bills and then the Dolphins, and then they were, I think, 8-9, and the Jets in the cellar. It's Bill Belichick, and so they've got these people telling you what you can't do, and you can't do this, you can't shoot that, and oh no, you can do that, sure, that's fine. And then Belichick comes out, and there's maybe 75, 80 reporters around today, and it was hard to get sound. I saw some TV people that had to take a knee and hold the microphones up, and he's out standing up there mumbling, and you just kind of roll your eyes. And, Greg Bedard, you remember Greg Bedard, right? We have him on the show now, a Boston reporter. He just says, it's like this way every day. But he says, you know what, Belichick, he's got a one-on-one relationship with some of the beat guys, those reporters. They'll come around and talk to you on the sideline and kind of tell you what you need to know. But he's out, when you see him, and he's 71 years old now. He must be the oldest active head coach in the NFL right now. And you just wonder how much more is in his tank to do this after sustaining such excellence for so many years. Other than that, more rotations going on here with the Packers. Shamar John Charles is a draft pick that's been injured, a defensive back for the Packers. Now he's healthy, and so they're getting him a good look because, like I say, that Valentine kid is pushing a lot of people. The Jordan Love story continues to pretty much be the same. Strong arm, runs the offense, just can't quite connect. Jaden Reed looked like he was open, got pushed by a defensive back, and which should have been a touchdown, ended up being out of bounds. So the Packers still, that first-team offense, close, but no cigar.
Mike, real quick, update on Eric Stokes. I know there was a question. He's not ready to come back and practice yet today, but what have you seen out of him?
Just working out up and down the sideline, present, running some, but not, full speed. I don't, at the start of camp, LaFleur just referred to, I don't see him anytime soon. So that'll probably be in season before they can incorporate him. But the good news is, so far, except for Jair with his mild groin thing, they've been pretty healthy in their defensive back. So I don't know. I watched the Bears preseason game. I have better hopes for this Packers team in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things they've got that are weapons. Hey, they just handed off the ball to Musgrave, Luke Musgrave. They want that ball to get in 88's hands because he's so big and so fast at 6'6". Now they can find a way to just hand off the ball to him if they can't complete a pass to him over the middle. There's 3 or 4 guys, Bill. The Jordan Love's got, if he just can get the ball in their hands, look out. Look out. They're going to drive defenses crazy that way.
Yeah, you just...
And then special teams is, the Anders Carlson thing, missing the PAT Monday inside the Hudson Center after 2 missed PATs against the Bengals and showing the leg but not the accuracy. And even talking to Bedard, he goes, that's Belichick, though. Look at these old guys. He's still got like Jabril Peppers and Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae. And then he's got Nick Foles there as one of the place kickers. He's 38 years old. Nick Folk, 38 years old kicker. Yeah. Why? Because he's accurate.
Right.
He's accurate.
Well, look how long Vinatieri held on. He was in his mid-40s.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they've got another kicker on the roster, so I don't know if that's a competition or not. What's his? I saw another guy that was warming up with them. So they've got 2 kickers, Chad Ryland. So I don't even know if that's a competition or if they do a thing where, like, look, we expect Folk to make the field goals. We expect the other guy to handle the kickoffs.
Mike, great stuff as always. Keep us up to date. Anything happens, let us know. And then hopefully Jordan Love sooner rather than later starts connecting downfield with Christian Watson and company, because you at least have to do that on a continuum to be able to say we've got a deep threat. Otherwise, it's going to become a moot point.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got to think at some point literally the chemistry will click.
Yeah.
Something will happen. The strength is there, the arm is there, but you're kind of wondering why the accuracy is not picking up a little bit. My hat just blew off. It's windy here.
All right, bud, you be good. Hold on to your head. Thank God you're not wearing a wig, and we'll talk to you soon.
That's next. Talk to you later, Bill.
There you go, buddy. Talk to you later. There you go. That is our own Mike Clemens joining us up in Green Bay, live at the Packers and the Patriots joint practice at the Ray Nitschke Field. And great stuff from Mike. So there you go. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We got a lot more to get to. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at the Four Seasons Island Resort. They are one of the prize packages, by the way, for those that get pre-registered for the motorcycle ride. And if you want to check them out, you can go to thefourseasonswi.com, thefourseasonswisconsin.com. Better yet, I just say, hey, look, if you're looking for a weekend getaway and it's still beautiful, you can take your ATV or UTV, you can go a little fishing, do a little golfing, whatever it happens to be. Just lay by the pool, indoors, whatever. Take it easy. That's the Four Seasons Island Resort. Call our girl Barb, B-A-R-B, 715-938-5110. 715-938-5110. Again, 715-938-5110. Use the promo code Michaels15. Tell them you heard it right here, and you get 15% off of your stay. Again, call Barb, 715-938-5110. Beautiful resort right on the island in the middle of the Miscano River up in Pembine, Wisconsin, the Northwoods. Beautiful up there. Give her a call. Tell her, you heard it here, and get 15% off. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palace 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Ow! Good to have you back. Yeah. Got to say thanks to our friends at Buzzard Billy's. Buzzard Billy's out on Pearl Street in La Crosse, the Starlight Lounge as well. And I'm going to be heading out there for Oktoberfest, which I'm looking forward to, out into La Crosse. And one of the things I always do, go in and imbibe a little bit down at the Oktoberfest grounds. But then Buzzard Billy's, eat, grub down, electric chair, head upstairs, couple of good cocktails, and oh yeah, the Starlight Lounge is home. So can't wait to see Heather, can't wait to see David, Rob, Carmen, everybody out there at Buzzard Billy's Starlight Lounge out in La Crosse, and highly recommend that you do the same when you're out there. And if you live out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's right there in your own backyard. Really good stuff. That's Buzzard Billy's and the Starlight Lounge. I want to deviate away from the Packers coverage and such here for just a minute. And I don't know if, Grant, you've done any of this. Have you followed? Now, we all know Michael Orr, an all-pro offensive lineman for the Baltimore Ravens in the National Football League. But we all know the story called The Blind Side and the movie with Sandra Bullock, which came out and really dramatized this family, the Tuohys, taking Michael Orr in, kind of treating him as, quote, one of their own, calling them his kid, their kid. But have you followed the lawsuit that has now gone on?
I saw the story of Michael Orr basically saying the movie was a lie and it was crap, which I think there had been suspicions of for a long time. The movie, I think we all assumed, kind of dramatized it in a very happy-go-lucky, very everyone wins way. That probably wasn't the way that it was, but I watched the movie a long time ago, and it's not a story or something that I've thought about in so long. So to now go back and think about the movie again and to think about the story again, I've just seen a lot of comments and a lot of details this week that are kind of sad.
It is, for those that don't know, excuse me, Michael Orr filed a lawsuit against the Tuohys, the family that took him in. There has been speculation for years. Now, in the movie, they make Michael Orr look as this giant, naive kid who had an athletic ability and began playing football, and they encouraged him, and they worked with him, and then they because he had turned 18 during his senior year, they couldn't adopt him because he was 18. So they opened a conservatorship, which gave them power of attorney. And then they ended up sending him to Ole Miss, where he became a star at Ole Miss, but which was also, by the way, their alma mater. And he goes on to Ole Miss, then ends up in the NFL, and the rest is history. Where Michael Orr has always said, look, I wasn't some bumbling idiot. I was already enrolled in private school when they discovered me. I was sleeping because of his home life. He was sleeping on friends' couches and stuff like that. So he wasn't like he was homeless, sleeping on the streets, but they discovered this kid. And regardless, this relationship was struck up, and the Tuohys took him into their home and such. Well, Michael Orr is now saying that, hey, out of the movie, first of all, he didn't like the portrayal of him in the movie as this big, giant Neanderthal who had some ability that really Leanne Tuohy coached him up and ended up making him great because he was already pretty solid and a star athlete when they became friends. And he didn't like that portrayal. And then because of this conservatorship, Michael Orr has said, I didn't get paid a dime for the movie. Not one dime. The deal was struck between the movie company, which I can't remember who it was, Warner Brothers or Paramount or something, and the Tuohys. All of them have been paid, but he has not been paid. And so he is suing the Tuohys. The Tuohys have said that everybody got paid. And Mr. Tuohy said that everybody got paid, and it was a minimal amount of money of like $14,000 a piece. While the Tuohy kids have already done some interviews that have said, no, we got $70,000, and we still do because of royalties. So even the Tuohys, whether inadvertently or unknowingly, kind of let out different information, which has been interesting. It's all been filed in Shelby County, Tennessee. And Michael Orr says that the Tuohys have misled him for decades. Now, remember, the entire Tuohy family was with Michael Orr on stage when he was drafted. He never looks really that happy, but the Tuohys all look thrilled. I don't know if you've ever seen, the pictures of that draft day, because it's now become an issue, as a matter of fact. But the lawsuit alleges that the family entered into a deal with 20th Century Fox. That's what it is. To pay them and their two birth children $225,000 each, plus 2.5% of the actual film defined as net proceeds. Well, the movie grossed over $300 million. So they believe, or believes that they're still being paid. They say the, quote, lie of Michael's adoption is one upon which the co-conservators, Leanne Tuohy and Sean Tuohy, have enriched themselves at the expense of Michael Orr, according to the lawsuit. And the family really has not responded in court, but they were talking to the newspaper saying that, they couldn't adopt him because he actually turned 18 the summer before his senior year. So the conservatorship was really the only way to play at Ole Miss under the NCAA rules. And other colleges' eligibilities was part of the plot in the movie and all that kind of stuff. And they made the NCAA look like bad guys in this, like they were just trying to be mean to keep him out of school, when in reality, the NCAA might have been right, saying, what's going on here? It seems like you people are gearing this guy, guiding this guy to your alma mater. You discovered this kid, this unbelievable player, and all you have done now is, in today's day and age, he's in the portal and he's making millions. But back then you couldn't do that. So they, in essence, took him in, gave him a home. They couldn't adopt him. So they got this conservatorship going, and then they pushed him to Ole Miss, where he became a star. And so anyway, but Sean Tuohy said that everybody in the family was paid $14,000 per person, including Michael Orr. In a Barstool Radio interview, SJ, Sean Tuohy Jr., told Barstool Sports Radio that he was paid $60,000 to $70,000 in royalties and still is being paid over the years. So it's, again, it's just kind of ugly. That movie left a really good feeling in a lot of people's hearts, and now it's just being all blown to hell, because it looks like there's, Michael Orr feels like he was deceived and lied to by this family. This family's like, they can't believe that this guy that they took in is suddenly turning on them. And they feel that they did the right thing and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, if you haven't followed the movie The Blind Side, you may want to go back and watch it and then kind of read about what's going on now as you fast forward and think to yourself, okay, what liberties did Hollywood take? What is real life, and where's this all going to end up? Because it's just incredibly interesting. Because on one hand, you've got a tremendous story for a family that cared enough, didn't care about the color of this kid's skin, brought him into their home and said, look, you can be one of ours. We just want to take care of you. And we have the means to do that. And on the other hand, he's like, no, they saw me as a star athlete and dollar signs. So they did nothing but just basically pimp me out, pimp me to Ole Miss. They got back in with their alma mater, and then they made a movie about it, and they're getting paid off of me as well, and they're not giving me a damn dime. So somewhere in the middle of the truth lies, but man, what a mess. What an ugly mess that's going on right now between the Tuohys and Michael Orr. So anyway, but if you haven't followed it, Read up on it. It's been rather interesting. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, right there on Lakeview Boulevard in Pewaukee Lake, home of the Pig Porker Sandwich. They have great food, TVs everywhere, and I have been over there numerous times where you just sit outside in that upper deck. I get the chef salad over there too because they got a tremendous chef salad. But sit outside on that upstairs deck, watch the boats go by, smoke a cigar, have the salad. You look through the window, you watch some TV, you watch some of the sports on the tube. Good to go. Great place. Fun place. Tell Ryan and the gang we said hi.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
If you are, as many people are, looking for a career, not just a job, but a career, Kemps right now, they are hiring. You can click on careers at the bottom of their webpage. Go to Kemps, K-E-M-P-S, Kemps.com. That is Kemps.com. And click on careers at the bottom of the page. They're hiring, and they're paying on signing bonuses, $23 plus an hour. They are looking for CDL drivers to pay even more. They're looking for production people. They're looking for maintenance engineers, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for a job, Kemps, K-E-M-P-S, Kemps.com. Bottom of the page, it's careers. They're based right here in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. So if you're looking for where they're at in conjunction with where you live, that's where they're at. So go to Kemps, K-E-M-P-S, Kemps.com. That is Kemps.com. They've been in your dairy aisle in just about every grocery store in the state of Wisconsin for a long, long time. That's since 1914. They've been around and been through a lot of change, and they're looking for good people to continue to grow with them. So go to Kemps, K-E-M-P-S, Kemps.com. Click on the word careers at the bottom of the page, and they are interviewing now. So if you're looking for a job, get with them. Get with our friends over there at Kemps, K-E-M-P-S, Kemps.com. Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Brandon listening to us in Menominee. Brandon, how you doing today? What's going on, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing? Love the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Doing great.
I guess I didn't want to change the subject right away on you, but the whole Michael Orr situation is obviously terrible, and I don't have too much to add on that because I wasn't there. I don't know anything too much about it other than what I've read. But, stories like that don't come out of nowhere.
Right.
But there is some degree of truth of what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. No, I would agree. And again, he was portrayed differently in the movie than he actually felt he is and such. So I don't know the depth. I agree with you. And boy, I tell you what, if this thing does go to court and suddenly we start hearing testimony, it could get really ugly from there on out.
I hope that doesn't happen, but best wishes to him. The real reason I called, it took me a little bit to get in. I wanted to touch on what you were. I'm sorry to rehash this, but you were talking about the Jets' offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
How woeful they were, and
well, that's according to Robert Saleh. That's according to Robert Saleh when he went after them yesterday. If you saw, and apparently that's one of the things on Hard Knocks. I have not seen it yet, but he really went after the offensive line.
Well, there's a lot to be desired there, and that's totally true. I think I just want to play devil's advocate for a second and say that I think, Breece Hall averaged 5.8 yards a carry last year.
Right.
That is nothing to shake your head at. And I've lived in Wisconsin my entire life. I'm not a Packer fan, but I've watched a lot of Aaron Rodgers. And what he has impressed me the most is what he does before the snap. Whether that's reading the mic back, the blitz, the defense in its entirety, whether it's a hard count, audible, what he does before the snap, I think is going to make that offensive line better, regardless of their actual worth in a better in better words.
Yeah.
But you can take your comments off the air. I thank you very much for talking to me.
No, appreciate it. I first of all, let me say this. I completely agree with you when it comes to what Rodgers can do with knowledge. Okay, when you get to the line of scrimmage, there's no doubt about that. When you look at what he is capable of, understanding blocking schemes and knowing how to set his team up for success, his offensive unit up for success by where the pressures are coming and recognition and such. Absolutely. 100%. But we have also seen, go back to the San Francisco game and the playoff game at Lambeau Field, that if your offensive line is not stellar, that it can become an issue. Very much so. So I look at things in the light of when the offensive line allows pressure, there is a ripple effect because you then want your quarterback is forced to make decisions quicker. They are forced to react quicker. They are forced to deliver the ball quicker. Sometimes it's a matter where you don't get guys open in time because you are waiting. And one of the things that you can look at is, like last year, what was it? Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, two of the most sacked quarterbacks in the National Football League. Both of those guys, I think they had 55 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. And it wasn't like the Jets were awful at protecting the quarterback, but even Aaron Rodgers had 32. He was sacked 32 times last year. 32 times. So if you start to go through the list and look where the quarterbacks were sacked when it comes to the New York Jets, Joe Flacco, Mike White, if you combine between the two, they were sacked 19 times. But the Jets also went through numerous quarterbacks. Zach Wilson was sacked 23 times. So you start to add it up as you start to look at what was done via the New York Jets and the pressure that was put on quarterbacks and the fact that, they got all their quarterbacks pretty much banged up. Yeah, the offensive line can become a concern. Sometimes you get a running back who picks up quite a few yards and carries the ball pretty well. And all he needs is just a seam. Just give me a gap and I'm through it. And sometimes offensive lines are better at run blocking than pass blocking. Pass blocking, though, is where it's at in the National Football League because we know it's a passer's game. So going to say they were awful, they weren't awful, but it is considered to be one of the weaknesses of an otherwise strong team, if that makes sense. It's considered to be a weakness of an otherwise strong team. And Dwayne Brown, who's on the PUP list right now, is their big left tackle. So he's on the PUP list. They're already starting off a little bit shorthanded, so to speak. There's Billy Turner, who we're all familiar with. He was a former Green Bay Packer. He's a guy, but Billy Turner's not left tackle, but he's been filling in at left tackle. They have Max Mitchell, who's more of a right tackle. They tried to flip-flop him. They tried to move guys around. There's Vera Tucker. He's more of a guard than he is a tackle. So they could use a left tackle. No doubt about it, to anchor that offensive line. And that's the reason there's all the talk and conjecture when it comes to the New York Jets and their offensive line. And right now it's in an otherwise strong team. You look defensively speaking, led by Quinnen Williams up front, the big nose tackle, and what they have on that side of the line and putting pressure on quarterbacks and such. And their defense is really stout and strong. You look at the offense, and probably the weakest part of their offense now is the offensive line, specifically right now, the way things are because of Dwayne Brown being on the PUP list, that's their weakest position. And that's the reason we talk a lot about the offensive line and the possibility of trades and such. But I'll say this again, there is nothing out there of any concrete that says the Packers and the Jets are in any discussions for David Bakhtiari. It is all simply media swirl, conjecture, BS. It's just crap. All right, let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get to. Hang in there. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Master Z's on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield. And as I had said earlier today, I'm heading outside tonight. Patio, resting, relaxing, little grub down. Going to be sitting at the patio set, the patio table, the patio chairs that I bought from Master's Ease. Love that place on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield, and we're coming to the end of the season, so they have got some great deals going on right now. If you are looking for unbelievable quality, if you are looking for huge selection, one of the biggest warehouses, if not the big warehouse and showroom in the state of Wisconsin, it's Master's Ease on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield. Call them 262-746-5931. 262-746-5931.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palace 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it.
Good to have you. Pull it in your pocket. Big supporters of the motorcycle ride. That's our friends over there at Sloppy Joe's on Hubertus, in Hubertus, and also Joe and Ellen Hennis and the gang over at Smoke on the Water as well. Big supporters of ours. We can't say thanks enough to them for the motorcycle ride, supporting the veterans, military members, and their families for Fisher House, Wisconsin. So if you are looking for a terrific company, a terrific restaurant, bar, whatever, that does a lot of good things community-wise, that is the gang over at Sloppy Joe's and Smoke on the Water. So if you're out in either place, whether it's in Hubertus or in Okauchee, in those areas, please stop by and support them because they're so, so good at supporting us as well. Coming up in the next hour, looking forward to some buy or sell. Got that coming up. Also coming up in the next hour, going to hear from Belichick, Coach Belichick. Going to hear some of the stuff that he had to say, getting ready for the joint practices today. So we got that coming up. And also, what else do we have? Mike Clemens has been doing yeoman's work. So he had I wanted to see, because we had a couple of guys that he had talked to. Oh, I know what he wanted, what I wanted to do. He had also had talked to Darnell Savage Jr., Christian Watson. So we're going to hear from those guys coming up here shortly as well. So stay tuned for that. So I just had to go back and check my notes real quick. 877-867-1670. But don't forget, buy or sell coming up here in just a little bit. Chris says, hey, Bill, great discussion regarding the blind side. I always thought it was Hollywood's BS when it came to that movie. Sandra Bullock was just too likable. He said, you never can believe what it comes out of Hollywood. Well, let me say this. It's not a documentary. It's a movie. It's either based on a true story or inspired by a true story. But it's a movie. I've never taken a movie that Hollywood put out and said, oh, there you go. That's exactly what happened. We don't know. So I understand that. He also says it's a shame that what was such a terrific family dynamic, or seemingly was, has been blown apart over simply money. Money's the root of all evil, isn't it? He then also asks, he said, what do you think is actually going to happen with the Big Ten and the SEC? Are they going to be the only two conferences left standing after the money grab is done? Whoa, that's a great question. We talked a little bit about that last night, as a matter of fact. Between the SEC and the Big Ten, they're just going to be the powerhouses. You maybe to get a team or something out of the ACC and, like the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever, it's pretty much gone. The Big 12, once Oklahoma and Texas left, they're trying to kind of reestablish themselves, but those were the two anchor schools. They left for the money. College football is going to be and look drastically different in 5 years. And quite honestly, I don't think it's for the better. I really don't. How do I put this? The speculation and conjecture over the best teams in the country, then playing in a kind of a playoff situation to determine the ultimate winner, I think even that is going to be unbelievably skewed. I don't like the direction it's going. And it used to be, when it came to college athletics, you kind of kept the money on the down low. It was all about the kids and the education. And, now if you say, student athlete or education, you're an outright effing liar. It is all about the money. They are professional athletes now. It is all about the money. Whether you're making $20 or $2 million or $12 million, it is all about the money. That's it. And it's basically become a semi-pro feeder system to the NFL. And I don't know what, quote, college athletics are going to be in 5 years. I know that a lot of what you and I grew up on, and even, hey, if you were born after 2000, even a lot of the rivalries and stuff that you still understood and believed. I mean, and some of the even the traditions they tried to hang on to, they're pretty much gone. You're still going to have the Iron Bowl, the Battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, Ohio State, Michigan. You're still going to have some of that, Old Oak and Bucket. But, like the Big Ten is considering their own bowl games and just eliminating NCAA and other. It's like, why have other sponsors and other entities make money? We're just going to take the money. We'll get our own sponsors and make our own money. I mean, it's an all-out cash grab. And I for one, look, I'm all about change. I understand things have to get better, but this is the Pandora's box. Pandora's box didn't open and give you a little bit of light. It just blew the lid off, and you're not going to ever put the S back in Horseman. I'll tell you that right now. So I don't know what it's going to look like. And I think part of me doesn't want to know what it's going to look like because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. We got another hour yet to go. We're approaching the 1 p.m. hour, which I can't believe it. This show today has flown by, just absolutely flown by. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We are going to get back into some buy or sell and any other questions you possibly may have. You're going to hear from inside the Packers locker room. Also today, stay tuned. We've got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show right around the corner. This portion of the program, we got a lot of great sponsors and a lot of good people all helping us out with the motorcycle ride. And we can't say thanks enough to everyone. We're getting down to it, though. Getting down to it. We are less than 3 weeks away. So now it's time. Get signed up. Get pre-registered if you haven't already. Please, we need you. We need you. We're behind this year. If you've been thinking about it, you got friends, you know you're going, but you haven't signed up, now's the time to do it. Scan the QR code on the screen right now. You can get there. Otherwise, just simply go to facebook.com/Big Unit Poker Run. Facebook.com/Big Unit Poker Run. Man, we need you. Help our veterans, help our military members, and help our families, and just help our great event. We'll be back after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are on the field for the first of 2 joint practices with the Patriots in Green Bay. That includes cornerback Carrington Valentine. The 6th-round pick has been among the standouts of camp so far, even getting some work with the first-team defense when Jair Alexander's missed time with injury. So it was fair to wonder if Coach Matt LaFleur thinks they need to find a way for him to be on the field despite their solid depth at cornerback.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to look at something because he's done a lot up to this point, and again, he's got to keep progressing. You know, there's still a lot of ball in front of us in terms of practices. We got 2 more preseason games, so we'll just see how he progresses. But up to this point, he's worthy of getting some snaps for sure.
One option would be to move Rasul Douglas to safety, something LaFleur said could be a possibility. Again, the Packers and Patriots are on the field for day 1 of their joint practices. Team's also going to face off on Saturday night in preseason game number 2. Turning to the Badgers, after a day off, they were back on the field for practice this morning as well. They were a little more than 2 weeks out from the start of their season on September 2nd against Buffalo.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer. But did you know they also offer competitive home, auto, business, and life insurance? They make it convenient to bundle your insurance while saving you time and money. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Brewers leading the NL Central is still at 3.5 games despite falling 6-2 to the Dodgers last night. That's because the Cubs and Reds also lost yesterday. Crew will look to bounce back tonight against L.A. Wade Miley goes for Milwaukee. Dodgers send Clayton Kershaw. First pitch is at 9:10. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Welcome in, one and all. Good to have you on board. The Bill Michaels Show, continuing on. Enjoying this day, this Wednesday, hump day, here in the program. Glad to have you here. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Should you choose to give us a phone call, we certainly would appreciate it, as always. Always great to hear from everybody. Good stuff. We got a little bit to get to, a lot to get to, you name it. So I want to try to get to everybody because there's been a lot of people that have been chiming in today. Chris writes, hey, Bill, I think that all the hype over David Bakhtiari and the knee is probably more people that want to get rid of Bakhtiari because he's a friend of Aaron Rodgers. Thoughts? Wrong. Don't mean to be a jerk, but no, that's not it. I think what people are looking at is, first of all, there's the pessimist. They're liars. He's really hurt and they're not telling us. Okay, there's that. Others that say that they don't want to pay the salary for a guy that's banged up. They'd like to get rid of him. Okay. Which you're still going to pay. I mean, if he got hurt, he got hurt. And, whether he's, practicing in Green Bay or practicing somewhere else, whatever. I mean, if he's injured, he's injured. He's still going to get paid. But nobody wants to believe. And again, look, me, I'm the one that labeled the Packers organization Red China. They don't let information out about anything. So I'm all over that. But I think in this particular case, they want to preserve them. I think that's just it. I don't think there's anything more to it than that. So I am not overly concerned about David Bakhtiari and the knee right now. If there was an issue to where he had, say, a little bit of a noticeable limp at camp, okay? Or if he came in and said, well, I don't know, I don't know what's going to go on, and I don't know how I'm going to feel, and it's day to day, or, any of that, I'd probably have concern. He's never said any of that. He's never talked about the knee getting drained. He's never talked about inflammation, fluid, problems, soreness, anything. It's just been, we're taking it easy. I don't need the reps. He's right. He doesn't need the reps. And when he played last year, as Brian Gutekunst has stated over and over again, he played like David Bakhtiari. It wasn't like he was out there, as a dancing bear on skates and couldn't support himself. He was fine. So I think they just want to make sure that he's fine. And you've got a young quarterback who is going to need a really good offensive line in front of him. And they are just doing what the Packers do. This is nothing that they haven't done before. They have always mixed and matched guys. They're trying to find, one, the best five to put out there. Two, they're just trying to they're playing the what if game. What if Bakhtiari goes? What if Elton Jenkins goes down? What if Josh Myers just starts getting his ass handed to him? Or maybe there's a guy like Zach Tom who is really not a tackle, but he's so good he needs to play. So you're trying to figure out where you can put him. I mean, there's so many different scenarios there. I don't necessarily worry specifically about David Bakhtiari. Just saying. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You got something to say? Bring it. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, the hoodie. Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's in town. And he was talking that, that he's excited and such. And in the Bill Belichickian way, I guess is the best way to put it. In the Bill Belichickian way. And basically said that, we are on to Green Bay. Here's what he had to say.
Try to keep, knocking out a few things here, training camp, and then, Green Bay this week. So looking forward to that trip. Been good working with Matt and his staff, and look forward to being in Wisconsin.
Bill, you've done them for several years now. What do you like about the joint practices most?
Yeah, well, we get to look at, somebody else, different players, different scheme, and learn from that.
Bill, what made working with Coach LaFleur and the Packers specifically an appealing opportunity?
Yeah, it just worked out that way.
There you go. Bill Belichick in his incredibly dynamic voice. There are new apps out. You can buy an app now and download it, and there's apps for kind of giving you brain stimulation, and there's apps to make you think. There's apps to give you energy, and then there's apps to let you rest and make you sleep easier. And there's white noise and green noise and red noise. And if you ever just want to drift off into nowhere, you can do nothing worse than just listen to Bill Belichick talk, and and that's it, and you're out. So there should be a Bill Belichick app, and Bill should like read a story. That would be the best. Is like he's reading you Jack and a Beanstalk. Once there was a beanstalk, and we were onto the beanstalk, and the beanstalk began to grow. And there was a giant up there. He started kicking some ass, had a golden goose, and that Jack guy and stole some stuff, and which I really didn't appreciate. But and the next thing you know, you're what happened at the end? That's it.
That was pretty good. You're a Caliendo light.
Yeah, that was that's Bill Belichick, man. Can you imagine? Now, Bill Belichick. Have you ever seen Bill Belichick's wife? By the way,
I have not.
Google her, real quick.
On it.
Just go Bill Belichick's wife. Google her, and then tell me what your impression is.
Amanda Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good-looking couple, Bill. I'd say maybe one half of the couple's doing more of the heavy lifting in the looks department, but a good couple,
Yes.
Nonetheless.
So you've got the Bill Belichick wife. Now, which one is it? Which one are you looking up?
I think this one looks more. Is there more than one?
I think he's had. Which one are you looking at? What is her name?
Debbie Clark Belichick.
Okay, yes, Debbie Clark Belichick. Okay, because I think he's only had one, but I had to be sure. So if you look at Debbie, and you look at her qualities, we'll say, a rather attractive woman. I can only imagine what it was like on the day that they exchanged vows. Now, there's a picture. Now, it's not like she's a 20-something and smoking rock, but there's a couple of pictures of her and some pretty tight dresses, and the assets are abounding. Can you imagine going, oh God, I Debbie Clark, take you, Bill. Oh, and she's weeping, and Bill's like, yeah, I Bill, take you, Debbie, be my lawfully wedded wife. You may kiss the bride. Oh, okay, there you go. I'm gonna go back at it, and I got practice later on today. Can you imagine
the honeymoon?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a honeymoon? Just God.
I can't imagine it was a very theatrical, emotional wedding.
Right?
I bet it was pretty straightforward.
Right? Can you imagine the honeymoon? The consummation of the marriage? Are you there? Are you there? I'm there. Are you there? I'm there. Oh, God. Oh. I'm there. There we go. Okay. Where's the towel?
Where's the towel? Call room service. Have them send up some more towels, maybe a sandwich.
Oh my God. That's the best. Oh God. Oh my good God. Yeah. Okay, here's the next question. Who does a better press conference? Craig Counsell or Bill Belichick?
Well, Craig's got the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ. There's just so much moaning and grunt. It sounds like he's stretching before he gives an answer.
No, I always picture Craig in the dugout going, God, ninth inning. Oh, man, I got to drop one. Oof. And how I got to do this press conference. And, Craig, so what happened, to Miley there in the fifth? Oh, God. And he's not like anguishing over the moment. He's like, dude, I got a Herculean deuce hanging here, and I gotta go. Oh my God. There you go. Oh, holy mackerel. Okay. So enough of that, but that's, the ever electric Bill Belichick and quick rendition of Craig Counsell. And I love Craig. I really do. Cause I like, he's not always going to throw his guys under the bus, but he gives you a little bit of honesty, and and a lot of the questions are very obvious. And he's like, I'm sure he's going like, well, what do you want me to say? You just answered your own question,
Yeah, Yeah, I like how he simplifies baseball a lot in his press conferences. And I try to repeat that on my show because they play 162 games. And, I remember earlier this year, that loss to the Twins, for example, when Devin Williams blew a save. Counsell basically came into the clubhouse and said, it happens. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, Devin Williams is going to give up a run. What do you want from me? And then when they have a really good day, he'll say the same thing. He'll be like, yeah, we were just hitting the ball today. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it happens. Like, he'll downplay the wins. He'll downplay the losses. I think Craig Counsell, although he's sometimes boring, it's a good reminder to baseball fans that, there's 162 games. They can't win them all. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
Right. So anyway, I agree. He's just very, he's very dry in doing it. Oh, by the way, Debbie Clark was married to Bill Belichick from 1977 through 2006. And she is the ex-wife. He is currently dating Linda Holiday. Linda Holiday. I don't know who that is.
How does he have time to date?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Grinding film, watching the All-22. He's fishing down in Jupiter, Florida in the offseason. Bill Belichick is busier than I am.
The Linda Holiday pictures are the ones that are the most current when you say Bill Belichick's wife. So that I'm still talking about the same girl, was just using the wrong name because I'm just looking at some of these pictures and they're boy, I tell you what, there's a picture of Bill Belichick and his Linda Holiday. They did a cycling event on together on a tandem bike and then separately on individual bikes. And Bill, you look at her in this picture and she's in bike pants and she's strong and hot and beautiful. And you look at Bill and you look like, dude, forgot to collect my garbage this morning. Oh my God. He's just this frumpy dude, man. That's it. Somebody sent me the picture and said, look at this. And she's, like I said, in the spandex top, spandex bottoms, in the bike shoes. She's got the makeup done. She's got the helmet on, the blonde hair. She's looking good, beautiful eyes, smiling. And there's Bill looking like he just woke up, threw on like a 4X oversized shirt. He's got some pants that just are big and baggy, this big ass. Just
all right, let's get this over with. I guess we'll climb on the bike.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay.
How many laps we got to do here?
You pedaling back there? Am I doing all the work up here? Oh God, I think I pitched my sack when I sat on the bike. Oh God, yeah, banana seat. Holy mackerel! All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We got buy or sell when we come back. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this. There we go.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palace 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Got to say thanks to our friends at Road, Track, and Trail. They are the world, not just here in our own backyard, but the world's biggest dealer when it comes to power sports, motorcycles specifically. And they carry all brands, all types, and they have ATVs, UTVs, and a ton of snowmobiles as well if you're getting ready for that season. And they're right here in our own backyard, right in Big Bend, Wisconsin. So if you have not checked them out, if you're looking for maybe a sled for the winter time, maybe a great deal on a motorcycle coming to the end of the season, right now for the summertime, roadtrackandtrail.com. That is roadtrackandtrail.com. And we got to say thanks to them because they provided us with the Can-Am UTV that we used at Road America out in Sturgis and such to get the equipment for the show back and forth. So thanks so much to them. Nick and the staff down there, great job. But I'm telling you, they are a tremendous place. If you've never gone online and looked at their, everything they have to offer in the showroom, man, they got a lot. They got a ton of stuff down there. It is time now for the ever coveted and popular buy or sell. Grant, let's do this.
All right, Bill, got a couple Packers questions today. I figured we'd spare listeners Brewers conversation after last night. Kind of a gross game. Right. 2 hits, especially if you stayed up until midnight to watch it. So why don't we start with a softball? This one should be pretty easy for you, I think.
Buy or sell.
Jordan Love told the media yesterday he needs to keep feeding rookie tight end Luke Musgrave. Said he's going to be a really good player, can do a lot of things after the catch. Luke Musgrave, remember, joins the Packers in a rookie class that also featured Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed. Bill, buy or sell, Musgrave will make the biggest impact of the 3 day 2 pass catchers that the Packers selected back in April.
I am buying it. And the reason being is you've already seen, if you haven't watched any camp yet, but you've already seen Luke Musgrave and some of the ability that he has, and just watching him in the game against Cincinnati, his speed at his size. Look, I don't want to draw comparisons, and I hate that kind of stuff, but my God, if he ends up being a Kittle or Kelsey type of player, holy mackerel. He's got all the ability. I don't want to oversell it. He can remind you a little bit of like a Jermichael Finley. Tall, speed, strong, almost a tweener receiver. He's exciting. He's really exciting, and you hope that he can do it. But man, I would buy that in a heartbeat. Yeah, as far as the ceiling goes, he might have. When you look now, Christian Watson has a really high ceiling because of his speed.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo Doubs is good, but the ceiling is not as high. Same with Jaden Reed. But when you talk about Musgrave, his ceiling, I would say, is as high as Christian Watson. And because he's got speed, he's got long arms, big hands, strong. Man, I hope I hope all of his ability is fulfilled. Because if it is, then he could be better than a guy like Jermichael Finley was. And Jermichael Finley, it's a shame. He never fully kind of developed because just when he started to get really good, the last couple of years that he bought into what Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy and such were selling, then he ended up getting hurt with the neck injury and never played again. I think Musgrave can go well beyond that. So I'm looking forward to that. Absolutely. I'm buying it.
I would tend to agree. I think an easy one also, just because Luke Musgrave is the guy at the tight end position, whereas Jaden Reed is coming in. Well, Watson and Doubs, they're already there. So Luke Musgrave, it's his position if he can just simply be good enough, at least as rookie, to get snaps and to be that guy. And he's so fast. You're right.
Buy or sell.
All right, let's talk about the NFC North. Many pundits say that the division is weak. Bill, it's wide open, and anybody could win it. And there may not be an elite team or a heavy favorite in this division. But, Bill, I also don't think there's an awful team. You can't get 2 free wins against Detroit or against Chicago this season like in years past. So, Bill, buy or sell, the NFC North is actually getting underrated as a division going into this season.
Let's look at it overall. Okay? So we can rate the 8 divisions. Think about that. Rate the 8 divisions.
Okay.
Are they as good as the NFC East? Buffalo, Miami, New England, and New York. No. AFC North. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. No, because two of those teams are possible Super Bowl teams. The AFC South. Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Tennessee. That they're better than that. I think between Detroit being better, Minnesota still being good. Yeah, I think they're better than the AFC South. The AFC West. Led by Kansas City, the reigning Super Bowl champions. No. So they're better than the AFC South. Better than the NFC East. Dallas, Giants, Philadelphia, Washington. No. Better than the NFC South. Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. I'll go with that. They're better than the NFC South. NFC West. Arizona sucks. The Rams, I don't think they're that good. Seattle on the come. San Francisco. I think they're maybe on par with the NFC West. So they're not the weakest because they're better than the AFC South and the NFC South. They're on par with the West, but they're, as a division, they're worse off than the East, North, West of the AFC. So, and worse off than the NFC East. So they're what, the 5th out of 8? I'd rank them probably 5th in overall in football. So are they?
Well, and they don't have that
No.
one scary team.
No.
You know, they don't have that one team, the Eagles or the Niners or the Chiefs. They don't even have that one single scary team.
Right. But if you look at the NFC West, I mean, unless the Rams have some kind of incredible resurgence, they're not much better. San Francisco's incredibly good, but they don't really have that staunch quarterback. Seattle, don't know what to make of Seattle. Is Geno Smith going to have another year or not? We'll wait and see. Then you can put the NFC West maybe better than the NFC North. The Cardinals stink on ice. So, and they're better than the South of both the AFC and the NFC. So I'd put them at probably 5th in the overall divisional category in football. So are they the weakest? No, but they're one of the bottom 3, we'll say.
All right. Just a little perspective, division by division. I like that. All right. We can play with that.
Buy or sell.
All right. Let's talk kickers. Packers kicker Anders Carlson has struggled throughout camp, especially with extra points. He made a couple of kicks in a row today before he had a really bizarre miss. I guess he came up short on a 40-yarder. I was looking at some tweets from our friend Andy Herman. Mason Crosby remains unsigned. So, Bill, buy or sell? With this being a rebuilding year for our Packers, Anders Carlson should be allowed to learn and develop and should keep his job all year, even if it costs the team a win or two.
Okay, that's a question of the way you worded it. Should he be allowed? No.
Okay.
No, he shouldn't be allowed. Will he be allowed? Yes. Now, think of this, because he's got an incredibly big leg. What if they're pretty deep? He's struggling, but they don't want to get rid of that big leg. Could you see them then bringing Mason Crosby back to be the kicker while Anders Carlson kind of learns it and still is the big leg from 50 and beyond for field goals and kickoffs?
I don't know.
I don't think
Crosby's coming back.
I don't think
I've read and heard from enough Packers people who are there every day that's not in the cards.
That's not in the cards. I agree with you. Could it happen? Sure, it could if he really starts to tank. But he's got Mason Crosby's got an affinity for Colorado. He could end up in Denver. I thought for sure maybe they might take him down in Dallas. Never did. So my assumption is it will be Green Bay or bust. And at this point in time, I kind of get the sense that it's bust. It's, Mason is now in retirement, although I'm sure he's probably keeping his leg pretty strong. But I don't see that. I don't see that.
Moved his family to Tennessee. They don't live in Green Bay anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's still got something in that leg. We'll see. He's got to be worth something to one team or another. All right, one more.
Buy or sell.
You might not really have an opinion on this. I'm kind of trolling, but you mentioned The Blind Side earlier, the movie about Michael Orr and the Tuohys. Tim McGraw in that film starred as Sean Tuohy. Now, Tim McGraw's also starred in Friday Night Lights, in Flicka, which is a movie I forgot about, and the Yellowstone spinoff, 1883, which is very good if you haven't seen it. Tim McGraw is well known for selling millions of records worldwide, but Bill, buy or sell, Tim McGraw does not give enough credit for his acting chops.
Do you know my story with Tim McGraw?
No,
I hate him.
I'm glad you have a story.
I hate him.
Oh,
I hate him.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's the biggest jackass, one of the biggest jackasses I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I was doing country radio, and he had come out with the song Don't Take the Girl back in the 90s.
Classic.
It was huge. And he had a string of hits. This is before he met Faith Hill. And so being one of the jocks at a country station at the time, I was the one that was designated to take our listeners backstage to do the meet and greet. So I walked backstage. They said, okay, Mr. McGraw, should be ready here in a minute. Standing outside the door, Tim McGraw is sitting on a couch in like the dressing room. It's at the Cincinnati Gardens, which is, I don't even know if it's there anymore, but it was an old building. And Tim McGraw is drunk as hell. I mean, hammer drunk before the concert. I said, hey, it's great to meet you. Do I know you? And I put my hand out to shake his hand. And I said, no, I'm, with Y96. We're bringing some fans backstage to meet you for the meet and greet. Great to see you. Then what the F do I want to shake your hand for? Oh, I said, okay. I said, well, these are your fans. I just wanted to bring them back. And I just walked out. And he was drunk. He forgot the words. He sang the first verse twice to Don't Take the Girl. People started booing him because he was clearly hammered. Total jag. And what kills me is because we had a concert. Laurie White, we called it a White Christmas. We had it at Music Hall later that year. And she had put out a song, and I think it's called That's My Baby. And she was actually the headliner. And Faith Hill was the warm-up act. Faith Hill had just come out with her first album. And so I was the one that was in charge of, and this was like Christmas Eve, I think. So I was in charge of getting down to Music Hall early and putting all the banners for the radio station all over Music Hall. And the Laurie White's bus had not arrived yet, but there was another bus out back. And I couldn't get into Music Hall. I'm really big on being early. So I try to get everywhere I go really early. Like when I go to Packers games for a noon game, I'm there at like 8 a.m. I'm alone in the press box. I'm doing my work, but I'm there. I'm there. I'm set up. I'm ready to go. And I just wait for the game, and I do a lot of work. So I get there really early, and they had not had any security open up the doors to Music Hall yet. And so I walked around back. It's cold. I walked around back, and there's this bus driver that opens the door and says, "Hey, are you with the radio station?" Because I had, all the banners. So yeah, I am. He said, well, if you want to wait in here and keep warm, feel free. And I walked on the bus, and at this table, alone by herself, is Faith Hill eating dinner. It's her Christmas dinner. And she's going to eat this before she goes to do the stage, because then she's traveling the next day and she's not going to be at home with her family. I got to eat this Christmas dinner with Faith Hill, who was the most beautiful, sweetest girl that you'd ever want to talk to. And as kind gets. So the fact that she ended up marrying this idiot to this day still astounds me. But when it comes to the acting prowess of Tim McGraw, every time I see him, I can't help but see this drunk, ready to throw up on his own wife beater T-shirt jackass going, "Then what do I need to shake your hand for?" And all I wanted to say was, I like your dad Tug a lot better, because even Tug McGraw was a jag as a relief pitcher. But man, Tim McGraw is such an ass. I couldn't dislike him anymore if I had to.
Damn. Wow. I'm glad I asked. I didn't know all that was in there. I didn't know you once ate a Christmas Eve dinner with Faith Hill. I was a big Faith Hill household growing up.
Oh God. It was the coolest thing. She had these, it was pieces of turkey, but it was this like turkey loaf thing and mashed potatoes. And she had cornbread and some other things that they had picked up for her along the way. And she was by herself. I was stunned. It was just her. And like the band, I guess, was on its way or something, but it was just her, and they were just sitting there waiting for the doors to open so she could get inside. It was the weirdest thing, the most surreal thing. And I thought, well, I'm like, well, maybe she'll make it big. We'll see. But you talk to her, and you can kind of tell she's got something. She's got a certain pizzazz. But Laurie White was the big hit at the time. I mean, now she was getting really big and getting a lot of play on top country radio. And so Laurie White was the headliner, and she had one song. Faith Hill had just come out with her first album, and like all of a sudden, boom, 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 3 or 4 songs off that album started to rise. And you went, wait a minute, she might be the one. And it turns out, obviously, hindsight being what it is, she was. But yeah, that was that's my Tim McGraw, Faith Hill story. And to this day, I cannot figure out what she sees in Tim McGraw. I can't.
Well, maybe he grew up a little bit over the years. I guess you never know.
Apparently, she got him to stop drinking, or at least to cut way back. That I do remember. There was a big story about that in one of the tabloid things. But yeah, he was an absolute drooling mess. And when he sang the words to the same words, the first verse over and over again to "Don't Take the Girl," and the fans started to boo, I just smiled and loved it. I mean, I knew it wasn't great for our station and our listeners, but I just smiled and loved it. I just thought, well,
that's the bummer is, you probably weren't dying to meet Tim McGraw. It's not like you needed to shake his hand. You had these listeners and these fans who had won these tickets and passes, and they're fired up. This is an awesome moment for them, and that must have sucked.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's a bummer.
Tim McGraw was he just thought he was God's gift, and he looked like a bit of a creeper, sitting back there in his cowboy hat tilted down over his eyes and looking, had a bottle of whiskey next to him and just looked like he was going to barf on himself. So I wanted to be out of the splash zone. So I left. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to this portion of the program, brought to you by our great friends over at Point Brewing. Whether it's the Loggers or Cider Boys, whatever it happens to be, they are based in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. That is the Point.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. Bill Michaels Show. Hey, coming up tonight, downtown Milwaukee, if you're looking to do something, it's going to be it's going to be a beautiful night. Head out on the Riverwalk in the Northern Lights event venue. Right down there next to the Screaming Tuna. It's right on the Riverwalk in the bend down there in the Milwaukee River. In the 3rd Ward area, Walker's Point area. It's right there on the river. But right next to the Screaming Tuna, northernlightseventvenue.com. They've got music on the patio tonight. The bar is open. The garage doors are open. Everything wide open down there. And it's going to be picture perfect. So if you want to sit down there and enjoy some music, listen to the acoustic jams, watch the boats go by. Oh, it's going to be such a cool night for that. And the Brewers don't play till late, so you don't have to worry about missing any of the game. Go down, listen to some music, enjoy your night, and then head back home or wherever after the fact. And they have huge screens inside the Northern Lights event venue as well. But go to northernlightseventvenue.com for dinners, weddings, photo shoots, business events. They've got it all. Again, northernlightseventvenue.com. By the way, a follow-up to the story of the Faith Hill thing. I did. Somebody, Michael had asked me if I'd ran into her at all after this, and I did. But I ran into her at Lambeau Field, and she and her husband, Tim McGraw, say that very angrily. They're friends of Brett Favre's, so they would every now and then, when Brian Noble and I were doing the postgame show for the Packers Radio Network, we would go down and check with Irv every now and then at halftime, because Irv Favre would join us on the postgame show. And there was more than a couple times because they're pretty good friends, but there was one time specific that Irv was out in the hallway. Irv had his Budweiser, and he's standing in the hallway, and he's watching the game on this little, above the, hanging from the ceiling type of TV. We're like, Irv, what are you doing? Why are you? I don't got time for that crap. Because Irv was a coach, man. He just wanted to watch the game. He wasn't into the pomp and circumstance, because you could have Richard Petty in there, Tim McGraw in there. I mean, you'd have just a number of people that Brett knew, and they would come into the suite. And then it was like this hoi polloi entertainment thing, They weren't there to watch. They were there to be a part of the atmosphere of the game, but they weren't really there just to sit there and pay attention to every play of the game. And Irv was Brett's dad, but he was a football coach too. He watched it, man. He analyzed the hell out of it. And we walked down, and Irv's like, I ain't got time for that blankety blank stuff. I don't give a damn. And nice people and all, but I just want to watch a damn game. That was Irv. And I said, well, who's in there? And he said, go in there to say hello. And there was Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. And Tim McGraw didn't recognize me. That's for sure. Faith Hill kind of gave me that look like, I think I know you from somewhere, and then I said, hey, who I am and blah, blah, blah. And she went, oh, I remember that. I remember that. So that was kind of cool. At least there was that. But yeah, that's when I would see them, was in the Favre suite at Lambeau. I have not seen her since. And I certainly didn't see her after she became the leather-clad Faith Hill in the introduction to Sunday Night Football. That's for damn sure. So, anyway.
Better than Carrie Underwood, by the way. No shade against Carrie Underwood, but Faith Hill is the original.
Oh, Faith Hill.
Owned it.
Yeah. Carrie Underwood, she can still be smoking, but there was something about Faith Hill that just, yeah, she would make a priest kick out a stained glass window. Yeah. Something about that. Anyway, before we go too deep down a rabbit hole we can't climb out of, Darnell Savage Jr. Talking about the Patriots coming to town for a couple of joint practices and game 2 of the preseason. He said, look, this is a big, important week of camp if you're going to make a roster.
I mean, it's always, you don't want to really specify any specific date or week, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of all throughout camp, even leading up to this point, so I think everybody in here is just enjoying the process of just preseason in general. We're just working together each and every day, working to just iron sharp as iron kind of mentality. I think it's going to help everybody, regardless of if they're here or somewhere else.
So did the trip to Cincinnati, the joint practices, the preseason game, that being there like that in the hotel for numerous days with the guys, did that bring the bonding, so to speak, of the Packers locker room together?
Yeah, absolutely. Joint practices are definitely fun. They're a different experience. Pretty enjoyable for the most part. There's always, a little bit of disagreements out there, but that's going to happen. It's football. So I definitely think joint practices are like beneficial and stuff like that. But like I said, it's in everything. Just camp in its totality, I feel like it's all important.
So, he's kind of the veteran, believe it or not, for a guy that was somewhat in the doghouse last year. He's the veteran guy. So is he now the guy that the other 3, 4, 5 safeties all look to, that he has to kind of teach and coach up, all vying for the roster spot right now next to him?
Yeah, I mean, I got to, and I love being able to do that. It's kind of a different feeling when those guys are looking to you and counting on you to get them lined up or to help them with certain calls and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the opportunity.
Who helped you?
31. Yeah. Adrian did. Yeah, absolutely.
Adrian Amos was that guy who is no longer with the Packers, obviously. Meanwhile, Christian Watson, he talked about what it's like, when you're standing there on the sidelines in Hudson Center, you look over and there's Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL.
It's cool. Just to have him here, especially for, the event that's taking place, having the draft here is going to be super exciting, super cool for all of us. So it's definitely exciting seeing him around here and just knowing that, we're having an event like that in Green Bay. It's going to be cool.
So, his reaction to the event of the draft coming to Green Bay, he said, as he said, it's pretty cool, but he expounded upon it.
I think it'll be super. Like I said, I think it'll be super cool. It'll be a fun experience. I'll have to check it out for sure. I know it's gonna make it tough getting around Green Bay because Sundays are bad enough. I know we're gonna have even more people coming in here, so it's gonna be busy in Green Bay during that time. But I'm excited for it.
So you get out of Cincinnati, you get back, you got a Sunday practice, Monday practice, you get an off day on Tuesday, you get ready for today's practice with the New England Patriots. So how was Sunday and Monday after the game on Friday night? How were those practices and those sessions getting ready for today?
It was good. I think there was a lot of energy out there. I think that, the past 2 days we've had a lot of energy out there. If we can carry over, that energy and that momentum into the Patriots and even just our momentum from last week going against the Bengals, I think we're in a good place. We just got to keep on growing, keep on getting better every day.
Got to keep getting better every day. There you go. Christian Watson, Darnell Savage Jr. inside the locker room. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap things up. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show yet to go. So, by the way, Will says, where's Noble now? The guy I used to do the post-game show with, Brian Noble, former linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. He lives in Henderson, Nevada. He's just south of Las Vegas. I'll see Brian when we go out there for the Super Bowl this year. But that's where he lives. He was coaching high school football out there as well. And he's doing pretty good. It's not always great. He's always had the back issues and the knee issues, and physicality wise, it hasn't always been easy, but he still loves, doing the hunting and the fishing and all the things that he enjoyed here in Green Bay when he was with the Packers and living in the area. So I'm really looking for, I haven't seen him in a while. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Brian when we get out in that direction. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. And God knows when I was cruising home last night and it was getting late and I needed something, I stopped in, grabbed a Red Bull, grabbed one of those little pizza burritos. Are awesome. I don't know if people eat those, try those, but I love those things. Tastes like a pepperoni pizza, but wrapped up in a wrap. And grabbed one of those last night, munched on that a little bit on the way home. There's just so much good. Right now they're giving away a Camaro and $35,000 in cash. Use your Quick Rewards card. Bananas are on sale, 28 cents a pound. Use your Quick Rewards card. I mean, there's just so much that they offer and so much that we need on the daily, and we don't want to run into the giant box stores to get it. So it makes it convenient, and they can't stop the gas prices from going up, but they can sure as hell make your visit to a gas station so much better. And God knows they've been recognized for it as the best in the country. And they're based right here in our own backyard, La Crosse, Wisconsin. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher.
Boy, you just never know when or where you're going to pop up. This time, it's my house.
Can I come in?
You're already standing in my living room.
Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
Oh, yeah. It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Heads up. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo! You need Palace 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens. They fit inside the actual window and protect you from nature.
Okay, now that's just brilliant. Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
You got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, just go right ahead and make yourself at home, I guess.
Ooh, root beer.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, bundle and save. Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double hung windows with hidden screens for as low as $188 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Summer's winding down, but Road America is still racing. Get your tickets and family fun information at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.